Oh, I just got the Landspeeder Luke notification.
Should I end the live session? Should I do that?
Why? Already?
Because of that one time? Because of that one time I ended it accidentally?
Jeez.
Because I was not thinking.
Oh, no. And then you have to like create a whole new link.
You had to create a whole new thing. Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah,
you
it was
just,
our...
completely shut us out.
Yeah, it was our VIP hangout last week. And I'm like, I gotta go. And then instead of just closing out, I hit end broadcast for some reason, because that's just what I usually do.
I mean, see, like once you get in the habit, you just hit that big red. They make it so easy.
Honestly, I didn't even think about it until after I'd done it, and I was like, oh no. And then instead of helping you fix it, I just bolted. I'm like, I'm out. I don't care. They'll fix it.
I know how to do all that now.
That's right. So. I made you a person.
I'm writing down all the my notes to go over for our ads. Let's see. When do we say it's the 15th, right? It's the 15th, right?
Oh, for
that Friday, the birthday.
Yeah, it's Friday the 15th, which is just a weird knockoff horror movie.
And do you wanna add? Are we doing 8 p.m.? Or do you want to try to go earlier?
8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Eastern, yeah.
Or you want to do 9 p.m.?
Well, I feel like if it's going to be a long show with people joining us, maybe we should.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. No, we could start. We could start at 5 my time. That's fine.
All right, because that's the normal we've sort of been going to. All right, 15th, 8 p.m. Yeah. All right. Perfect. And so we're gonna do the same last year. Where was it just Patreons who could actually join the show? Right? It was just Patreons.
Honestly, let's find out. Oh,
I'm pretty sure it was just Patreons. Or since we have a lot more Patreons now, should we tier lock it? Like, you have to be part of the 11 or up
no,
tier,
I feel like
open to everybody for
I feel
Patreon?
like we gotta open it to everybody.
Right.
That's
but we're popular now, Mike. We're popular.
Yeah, but I don't want to get like hoity-toity and like I still want to be accessible.
True. See, everybody, Mike isn't letting the fame get to his head.
No,
I'm becoming corrupt already.
Let's see. Live last birthday bash. I'll tell you right now. We made it public for anyone to join last year because it's currently a public thing, and I haven't gotten to that episode yet to make it public. So last year we made it available for anyone to join, at least join the live stream.
I mean, like join the show specifically.
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
I meant like to come on the show and have it.
That makes way more. That makes so much more sense.
Yeah,
I would say let's limit to like the $5 tier and up.
All right.
Or $11.38. You know what? No, we can limit it to $11.38.
Or should we just do all Patreons? I just wonder who all came on last year and if any of them were the $2 tier. Because if we eliminated the $2 tier, then we'd be getting rid of like JD Stolk, some other key like long time contributors, you know, if they wanted to hop on.
But I feel we have to do something to limit how many people can actually come on.
Yeah, because it would be like a.
Yeah, I mean, if they want for a month, they can jump up. Like if they can afford an extra $2, or
so we should do 5 or $11.38.
Yeah, let's
just do 5.
Let's do 5.
Well, because we know the VIPs are most likely going to join. Yeah, that's 3 already.
Yep,
and I'm sure it'll be some same people as last year.
Paragon Fuzz dropped down to $2, so.
Oh, he was one of our better ones.
He was one of our better ones, but maybe that'll get him back up to the $5 tier for a bit or something. I don't know.
True. All right, we'll do $5. You can do $5 since the $2 tier is advertised as
we're having just
a supporter.
You know what's funny is eventually all the $5 people are going to listen to this, and the $2 people can't. So we could talk bad about the $2 people all we want.
That is true.
Because all we have to worry about right now is the $5 tier people listening to us talk about them. So we have to say nice things about, hey, $5 tier people, how's it going?
What was I about to say? I forgot what I was going to say, but
okay, that's good. Good story.
Anyways,
Anyway, yeah, this is fun. Getting getting this done on air.
We have to talk about it at some point, though. So it had to be done.
This is good content. This is good content.
This is great.
Luke, how do you like this content?
I think he's in the chat. He's
too busy chatting.
He bailed on the Patreon intro.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. There's Brian. Hi, Brian.
I just posted to my my few YouTube channel members. See if anyone joins.
That's right. We'll see.
The one time I did a YouTube live stream, I announced it a couple days ahead on my YouTube, on my Instagram. There were 30 people waiting for me to go live, and as soon as I went live, my phone froze, and I had to quit it, and then I had to make a whole brand new link, and I'm having to delete my story and all this stuff on my phone while I'm trying to stream from my phone to get. It was a nightmare, and
That's
so I
a
ended
lot.
up just barely. Yeah, I just was I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
but I
for
need to
sure.
give it another try because it was fun.
Hey, Brian, your friend is sending me one of the PowerCon exclusives that you got him for free. It's super nice of him. I wasn't expecting that, so it was really cool that he's doing that. Sorry, guys, that's some non-Black Series talk. That's Mythic
exclusive?
Legions, Cosmic Legions. It's this demon guy. He's got a green head and green hands, and he's all on fire and stuff.
Is that the one you sent pictures of today?
No, it's a guy I don't have yet because he mailed it out today. Yeah, I joined the Mythic Legions and Cosmic Legions Cabal Facebook groups today.
Oh Lord.
Nice.
So the last time we talked on one of these, you're struggling with the budget because you're so many months
I
behind.
don't even want to talk about it.
And now you've bought so many Cosmic Legions the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You've got to be in 2024 by now.
I'm not in 2024 yet, but I have sold some things to offset it. I'll say that.
Okay, that helps.
Yeah, I'm in fact I was supposed to today, but tomorrow or sometime this weekend I'm selling one of my HasLab Sky Strikers for $300.
Oh, sweet.
And that pays for the all-in for the Cosmic Legions Wave 4, which is conveniently $300. So it's I'm not spending any money at all.
Or you could just pay an extra $200 and back the ghost.
Why would I do that? Why would I buy something I don't want versus getting 6 things I do want?
True.
It's not very completionist of you.
I'm not a TVC completionist. In fact, it is completionist of me for Cosmic Legions because it's you're going all in. You're just getting all of them, and you get a discount for doing that because I looked it up because I don't really want one of the figures. It's called a Lowland Razorback or something like that. I don't remember what it's called, but he's this creature. He's $60, but if you take him out and buy everything but that guy because of the discount you get for buying all in, you're only saving $20. And I'm why not just get it for $20 and just it's fine for $20.
Mm-hmm.
The wave that the Cosmic Legions, yeah, it is a good looking wave.
Yeah, that line is just so wild.
We'll talk about it.
You sent today. Oh,
we'll talk about it today. That's one of the things we have to talk about because that's most of my fine editions.
That is true. That's all I've seen you get is
No,
those
it's true.
pretty much.
I've got other stuff too, but I
can tell that's the stuff you're passionate about because that's what you send in the group chat. You know,
that's true, man. I don't know. Sometimes I'll save this for the podcast. I'll save it. I've got thoughts, but you're right. I haven't felt this way about a toy line in a long time where I'm just loving something because it's just cool. I'll get into it. I have thoughts, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm ready to just go ahead and dive in because
we can go in. We can dive in.
Wilbon joined right in time.
I was waiting for Wilbon to get here, so that's good.
Luke, we're going to kick you out for a minute or two, and then we will.
Yeah,
we'll introduce you back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
This has been.
Bye, Luke.
I felt bad. Like mid-sentence cut him off.
Just, this has been fun. And then just.
We should just not bring him back now.
He's just going to sit in the green room for like the next 2 hours or whatever. Hour and a half, I guess, since we don't have anything to talk about.
He's been relegated to the live chat on the side.
Yeah, that's it.
Can't even start the show now 'cause I'm too busy laughing.
Just relax the facial muscles.
It's too hard.
Breathe out. Breathe out. Hey, before we go live, how did everyone sound to the people that are
testing?
Am I too loud? Is Zach too quiet? In a strange turn of events, am I too quiet? Is Zach too loud? I'm just curious. Could we be different? Could we be? To me, Luke sounded fine, and you, Zach, sound fine.
Yeah, sometimes we sound fine to each other, but then the chat's like, "Oh, you're a little quiet. You're a little loud."
Yeah, and it's weird because when I go back to the playback, like I can hear that. I hear what the chat hears, but right now in the moment, I don't hear it. So it's weird. Brian,
we got the green light from Brian, so that's all that matters.
That's literally all I needed.
When a VIP tells you,
that's right.
You sound good. You sound good. I hope, anyways.
That's what we pay him. No, he pays us for it. Oh man, that joke does not work.
Yeah, I was about to say, we better not be paying him.
No, we're not. He's paying us.
No refunds on the VIP tier. On any tier.
I want you to start this time. I've been starting a lot.
All right. Well, on that note, welcome to Black Series Cantina, episode 52. Not really a whole lot of news to go over this week, but we do have another great guest. We'll bring on Landspeeder Luke here in a minute. But first, I want to introduce myself. If this is your first time listening to the Black Series Cantina, I'm Zach, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mike.
And Mike, that's me, Mike Case.
Mike, tell me that our last episode, whenever we went 4 hours with Jake from Fort Lumberjack, tell me that wasn't one of the best episodes we've done.
It was one of my favorite episodes we've done, but it was one of my wife's least favorite episodes that we've done. Because when I finished and then went to go sit on the couch next to her, I could tell that she was mad that we went so long. She's like, I'm trying not to be grumpy about this. I know it's important to you, and I know that you said that it might go long, but I didn't expect 4 hours. And I was like, me neither. What was I gonna do?
Thanks, Jake. Now you're getting Mike divorced.
No, she was cool. I got her some snacks and everything was fine.
Perfect. But yeah, that was a phenomenal episode. I could talk toys with Jake now for like eternity, it feels like.
Yeah, let's just add Jake to the podcast.
I mean, honestly, he was fantastic. I wouldn't necessarily be opposed. But yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed our episode last week. We had a blast making all the feedback has been absolutely incredible. So thank you all for that.
Yeah, it only took 52 episodes, but we hit our stride.
Yeah.
We found our voice.
We're cooking with gas at this point officially. So before we bring on Landspeeder Luke, let's just do some quick plugs real fast. If you want to listen to real fast, I was on Ken Plume's show on his YouTube the other day, so you should definitely go check that out on his YouTube page. I listened
to it. He invited me to be on, but my wife and I were having like a date night thing, so I couldn't be on.
Yeah, but we were mad that you skipped hang out with the boys for the wife. Like, come on now.
It was hard passively listening to it, I'll be honest, because I kept wanting to interject with things, like when you guys were putting the backpack on. On the Rogue One, the Jedi Patrol Trooper, I'm like, tuck it under, tuck it. It goes right under. You just put it right under, and you guys were like, oh, see, it goes over the. I'm gonna just put it under, and then you figured it out, and I was really proud of you figuring it out. But then I'm like,
we were googling images for 5 minutes, looking at hot toys.
No, but it was a good. You know what? Like, it was a good conversation to listen to. Ken Plume, friend of the show. We'll probably have him back on at some point.
I always get nervous when I jump on shows like that. Like, the first time I went on like out of the basement, and I'm at this point, I'm so comfortable with those guys, like it's not even like a thought now. But like, the first time you go on someone's show, you're like, am I really that interesting to listen to? Like, I don't think I'm interesting to listen to. But then I got to remember, like, all right, I have a successful podcast.
Yeah.
People give me good feedback.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's the confidence thing. Like, do people really like want to listen to me? And that guy, Ken Plume, has had some fabulous guests on his show. I'm just like
crazy. You have been on the same show now as John Hodgman, as Bobby Moynihan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other people too. Paul Sung Hung Lee. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Paul Lee, the guy, Carson Teva.
Yeah, Carson Teva. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Mike Case has been on that show. Like, are you kidding me?
I was on his show for 6 hours in a row one time.
Mr. Stevie has been on there.
Yeah, it's true. He was on there just recently.
So like, when you look at real quick, when you look at all the lists, like the names, you're like, why do I belong to come on this show? But so everybody should go listen to that. And then also, if you want more Black Series Cantina, last week we recorded our VIP hangout with our 3 VIP members, and we have 1 VIP spot left for our Patreon if you want to join us live every month. So
that's right.
With that said,
we had a blast. We had so much fun that we had to put it in 2 parts. That's how much fun we had.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
All right, so without further ado, let's, we know why everybody's here, and that is to listen to Landspeeder Luke.
The dulcet tones of Landspeeder Luke.
I think he's watching TV. Luke.
Hello.
You're on.
I love it.
I was listening on my phone, and so there was a little bit of a delay. But
that happens.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. But I'm back. We're live.
It's okay. Yeah, we're live. We're good. We're here. I have to say, Luke's probably got my favorite voice of any Black Series reviewer, like video person. Like, I've made a playlist of your Shelfie series, and whenever I just want to like kind of relax, like I'll put it on and just listen to you talk about the different figures that you put on your shelves. It's very soothing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't as
that was soothing in a creepy way, and I dug that for different reasons.
Luke would make a very good therapist.
Or just switch over to ASMR and you're good. You should do that.
True.
Basically what I do, yeah. I was watching back my old videos, and I don't have any audio on my videos anymore. Like, I just record all the unboxing and stuff with the audio off. But looking back, I was like, I kind of miss the crinkling of the plastic, and just like, having some sort of sound effects, I think, can be nice. But it's all a balance.
We'll think about that.
Yeah.
Think about adding those back in. Maybe still make it quiet, but record the audio from the crinkling and stuff, and you can just talk over.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk over that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I used to do.
Yeah, because I definitely understand not talking and unboxing at the same time, because it's very distracting. Like, thoughts go everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't.
So Luke,
I can't do it.
Are you committed to beating our 4 hours with Jake from Forlam Dazakis from last
Absolutely
episode?
Not.
Thank you. No. My wife thanks you.
My
marriage
stomach probably thanks you, because this is usually his dinner time also.
It is. Yeah. Well, so same with Luke. It's we're both on the West Coast. It's
that is true. I forgot about
6:19
that.
right now, and I'm not hungry right now, but like in an hour and a half or so, I'm gonna wish I had like a sandwich or something for sure.
So whenever we're 3.5 hours in, we'll
you might hear me eating. Speaking of sound effects.
Well, we're gonna hear that crinkling and the chewing. Gonna turn it into like an audio mukbang.
Yeah. You know what I did today? I was repainting my Black Series Scout Trooper helmet, and I was listening to my first appearance on this podcast, which was actually the first time that the 3 of us ever talked.
That's true.
Other than like random DMs on Instagram. And it was also my first time, I think, like speaking as Landspeeder Luke, like actually having my voice recorded, because it was before I started my YouTube channel.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, a lot has changed.
You have so many,
on.
subscribers now. It just seems like you've been around forever, but you're really the fastest growing YouTube there is right now.
Thanks. Yeah, but it was interesting to hear. One, I sounded really nervous at the start, and then I also we talked about a lot of stuff that I realized a lot of stuff where I'm like, oh yeah, I need to get on that. I need to start a TikTok. I need to, do all that. Mike said he wanted to get into 3D printing. There's all this stuff that we were like, oh yeah. We got to get in. I need to get on that. And then we still haven't, but Zach has. Zach's
basically made it so I don't have to. Yeah, the tables have turned to where he was the one that was like, we got to get Landspeeder Luke on. I got to ask him all these 3D print questions. Because I think there was a point in the show where we were maybe 2 hours in, and I was like, all right, well, I guess this. And Mike was like, no, I got more questions. We're going to keep going and talking to Luke. So, but then now I have like the Landspeeder Luke shrine, this entire shelf.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely crazy because when you were on last time, just you on our first episode with you, I think that was like episode 7. Yeah, we weren't really friends. Like we talked a couple times. Like we had a mutual respect, but now. No yeah, exactly. Now we have the group chat with the shill squad, and it's just I can't even imagine not talking to Luke in a day. It's weird.
Yeah, it's because I also was thinking like when we have stuff that we want to talk about that we don't necessarily want to post about, it's like nice to have a couple people to message. Because I guess before I may have maybe just like DM'd with a couple people where you kind of go through and like send the same message to 4 different people.
Yep.
Just to like talk about it, but it's nice to have that there when you just want to like blurt stuff out right away.
No, it's true. Because like I love talking to my wife, but she doesn't understand any of this stuff. So she doesn't have the same reaction. But if I want to tell someone something and I know that they'll have the same reaction I had and we can like talk about it on that level, like it's nice to have that group of people that you could do that with. And anyone listening to this, I encourage you to find a group of people that you can do that with, because it really is, you build a sense of community. It's a lot of fun.
And having an iMessage group chat is so much better than Instagram DMs.
Than a text,
yeah. But luckily, we don't have anyone with an Android in our group. Otherwise, it'd be tough.
There'd be fewer messages sent if
That's true.
But yeah, that's essentially why I wanted to start a podcast, is to get closer to people. And I have you two have been some excellent friends, along with the Out of the Basement boys. But first, since it's been a long time. I just checked, episode 16 was the last time we had Luke on. And that's quite a while ago, considering we record only every other week. And we're on episode 52 now. So, Luke, how about you reintroduce yourself to our new listeners?
Alrighty. I am Landspeeder Luke. And I do figure customizing and 3D printing with my own designs. And I run a Patreon now with over 100 different Black Series scale 3D print options that are all Star Wars themed. And I guess that can be any scale you want, because you can just scale it up or down. But designed for the Black Series.
The one true scale. Designed for the one true scale.
The world building and all those things that don't really work at mass retail. And so you can just build your own galaxy.
All right, I'm going to interject. Luke is being way too, what's the word I'm trying to think
modest.
Of? He's being way too modest. He needs to come on here and say, I am the GOAT
the greatest
of Black Series 3D printing. Because not only is my stuff, like, do I have a lot of stuff? Well, I'm speaking as you, Luke, but I have the easiest stuff to print, because you don't have to print these pieces in like 8 different pieces to put them together. It's usually all, or at least most of the time, support free. Very easy, and it's fit for the most common printer. So, Luke, you're being too modest, and we're here to gas you up.
Well, and not just that. Like, he didn't even talk about his YouTube channel, which, like we said, he didn't even have when he was last on. How many subscribers do you have right now, Luke?
I just hit 14K.
Look at that. It's been what, a year and a half? Is that how much?
It started last May.
Last May, so about a little over a year.
Year and a few months, yeah.
Yeah. And you're only 3,000 behind me, and that's awesome. I can't wait until you pass me, because then that burden is lifted from me. It's gone. I'll feel better.
It's funny because when I'm almost caught up to the Out of the Basement guys, and it really made me like, because like I want us all, we're all doing well, and like I think you guys were such pillars of the community for so long that I like didn't want to pass, and it's like, or like I want you all to keep growing at the same speed. But so like when I started creeping up on like the out of the basement sub count, or like when I hit 14K, I was like, oh no, I don't want to pass them. I don't think it's like I feel like you guys should all have more. But we all continue to grow
it's not
together.
a competition. Yeah, it's not a competition. It's just you put out what you put out, and people respond how they respond, and you're still part of the community, and that's what matters.
Whenever you said pillared, like, I just realized that my Instagram got like my pillar got 9/11 into the ground.
You had a pillar, and you no longer have a pillar. No, your pillar is now the podcast.
It is the podcast. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. I'll take it. Hey, I got TikTok. It's out there too.
That's true. No, your TikTok's doing pretty well. Yeah.
King.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at 17. I wish I could monetize that better than I am right now, though.
Would you say you're probably one of the most popular Black Series TikToker?
Black Series specifically, yeah. There's like I think TikTok's really big on like funny videos and action figure photography and customizing. And then when I post a video like that of like stuff I actually 3D print, it doesn't do great because whenever I get in the algorithm whenever I post like the Black Series logo that I've had created for me, and then like revealed today, and then that's when I get like 100,000 views, and then that's when it blows up. So
right.
But I do throw in those funny ones. Like I think yesterday I had a really funny one. Whenever there's like no news going, but hey, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about Luke.
Damn right.
But Luke is. I personally, like, I know I've printed one thing from in print condition and not from like anybody else really in the community. So far, you're my Black Series 3D printing goat. So
thank you.
So maybe one day you'll be overtaken, but I doubt it because your stuff is so easy to print. And you have like stuff for every trilogy. It seems like.
Thanks.
Do you still?
I also. There's a lot of really amazing 3D print accounts out there, especially for resin stuff for like, figure accessories and that kind of stuff. But I feel like 95% of it is like clone focused or trooper focused.
Yeah.
That's kind of like my least favorite part about Star Wars is the wars part.
You've been doing like Cantina aliens and stuff, and I really like
weirdness
that.
and all of that, and the world building and that sort of thing, and
for sure,
the actual like the clones. Just I just didn't grow up with that. I was Phantom to pretty much to Attack of the Clones was my era, and so I didn't watch Clone Wars till COVID basically. And so I really. It's nice to have so little competition in that space since like, I mean, in print condition also does amazing work focusing on a lot of that stuff. But yeah, so much of the resin stuff that's out there, it's very rare to find files at least. Like there's a lot of people that sell prints, like Scoundrel Stock and like Scotticus Customs and those, they do really cool work that's more alien focused and that sort of thing. But
Layered Creations is really good with his stuff too.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff, but I'm glad it's fun to focus on the other stuff.
You know what?
I love how creative you are. Like we're having that. I was on Ken Plume's show one night, and he unboxed because he does this show where he'll open figures while we talk, and he opened up a Hoth Chewbacca, and we joked, that Landspeeder Luke's probably got one.
I have it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the one he mailed to me.
That's right.
For like $5.
But then we pipe on and Landspeeder Luke's in the chat and he goes, nope, but I'll make one right now. And then within like 30 minutes, I've got a picture on my phone.
It's funny. I sent the one that I made while I was listening to you guys. I sent to Ken. Okay. And then I made one for myself, which is the one that Zach has, I think.
And the Jizbaka.
I made one with don't show the back. That's the one rule.
Oh, I was looking at
just the front.
And then
it's the same rule Hasbro has.
Yeah, he's as bad as Hasbro. Look at this. I got ripped the fuck off.
He got ripped off. There's no paint on the back.
I always
Luke blow.
The back of my customs are between
Lazy
me and God.
Speeder Luke. Jeez.
Lazy Speeder Luke. That's it.
Did I use the terrain effects on that one, or did I?
I don't know. It looks like you got jizzed on.
I can't tell. I don't remember.
I think it's like thicker. It's the terrain stuff because I could just
the other
peel
day
it off
I was
if I wanted to.
airbrushing the pike speeder that I made for Patreon, and I was like, well, I have my airbrush out, and I went and grabbed all the Hoth figures that I did snowy effects on, because I ended up doing on like Snowspeeder Luke and Han and the Hoth Luke, like Wampa one as well, because Frederick repainted them for me, so now there's some of my favorite figures. And
I want to have him on some point.
Yeah.
Like his paint is just incredible.
Yeah.
What did he just do? The Zeb from Mandalorian was just phenomenal.
I've got that right here in my closet.
I thought that was just like a picture of Zeb. Like I didn't even see that was an action figure for like a good second. Yeah.
Tim and Frederick are coming over on Saturday, and we all get together and we paint, and pretty much just like watch them, because I can't do faces like that. But unless I have something to work on, but I'm like so lucky to get to have those guys like come over and paint in my house, and I can just watch them.
All right, so I'm gonna overnight like half of my figures to your house, so you can just be like, hey, just set like my Anakin face on the table, and then give him your Poe Dameron, you know. Give him a Poe Dameron. I'll send him a Zed.
Yeah. Tim just posted a new Padme that he finished, and it's insane because it has all the different patterns and stuff on it. I forget which look it is. I think it's her lake house, or like whenever they're in Italy.
Yeah. That's a good look. In fact, that's probably one of my favorite just Padme looks. Not like as a queen, but like just Padme.
Mm-hmm. We need more Padme in the line.
No, we absolutely do need. We also need some Queen Amidala in the line. And
we
I know
need
we're
the
getting
Phantom Menace red.
Aren't we getting that? Didn't they? No. We're getting the Ascension.
TVC has that, right? They just got that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Well, they announced a Padme for the Black Series.
Yeah, but it's the Phantom Menace.
It's the Phantom Menace, the one from the end of the movie, right? Where she's like storming the castle or whatever.
Yeah, but not the Queen Amidala, the red, the famous one with the red and gold.
Yeah, no, we definitely need that one.
And all that.
And like,
Luke
come on.
has it because he's from the future, and
you know what I want them to do?
Which one do I have?
Don't you have Queen Amidala, or was that Frederick?
No,
the big red dress with their big party hair.
But Nuno on Instagram is making one, right. So I pre-ordered it fully.
They need a light up one, is what they need.
A light up one.
Yeah, because her dress has lights on it.
I think it actually it has a translucent bottom, and so it you can actually put lights underneath it.
See, that would be cool.
Interesting. He probably did it better than Hasbro would.
I mean, that's not hard.
Definitely.
The difference is he's not making it for a mass production. That's always going to kill
$25 for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he does some pretty incredible stuff too. I want his Anakin head. I can't remember whose is the best I've seen, but I think he does a really, really good dark side Anakin with the red eyes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's him. I could be wrong. I'm going to double check later on.
I've seen someone on Facebook recently. They put the Force Ghost Anakin head on a regular Anakin body, and they're like, they keep posting it like it's the best thing in the world, and I'm like, that looks awful. That just looks so bad because it just looks so shiny and like blue, and like that's just not what a person's face looks like. You know, it's just.
I love when.
I don't want to kill their fun. You know, he likes it. That's what's important, I guess.
One of my favorite things about the group chat is whenever we share bad customs that people post.
Mm-hmm. That is fun.
And it's like, do they really think this looks good? Like that one. I'm not even going to bring it up on.
Don't even bring it up. I don't want, just in case they listen to the podcast. Just in case they're listening, I don't want to crush anyone's dreams. Listen, nobody's unless you're Landspeeder Luke. You're never really good at something when you started off. It's all about learning and practice. The only person I've ever seen be just good at something their first attempt is Landspeeder Luke, especially like he animated the intro to his like channel and stuff. Like he did that. Like he didn't pay someone on Fiverr to do that. Like that was like, I just, I learned how to do it and threw it together. And I'm like, yeah, screw you. just screw you, Luke.
Well, I think the thing is when I really mess something up, I just have the decency not to post it.
Not to post it.
Yeah. So the stuff that doesn't work, doesn't work, and then no one ever has to ever know about it though.
You know what makes me really mad about Luke though? Whenever he says he pays $50 for shipping in his YouTube videos, that really just pisses me off. You know, I can't stand Luke for doing that. I don't know why, but
you know, those people are just jealous. Like, who cares if someone else spent a little extra money to get something super early? It's not like he stole it. It's not like he bought it from, because, you know, there is a popular Transformers YouTuber who I will not name, who gets stuff like months early all the time. Because and I haven't seen anything official, but everyone has basically said that he buys them from like someone at the factory, like they're pulling it from the factory floor, like under the table, and he's buying them. So it's like a little nefarious. Like it's a little south of being proper, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm not going to straight up call him a thief or anything like that, because I honestly don't know. I just don't know. But I do know that like he'll get stuff before it's even announced. Like he has reviewed figures before they've even been officially announced. So it's not like that. It's not like, you know, you paid for stolen material. There was someone that had it early. You paid a little extra money for it.
And I always want to say where I get it. I always tell people, like, here's where you can buy it.
You're above board. You can get it too.
If you want to buy it as well.
Exactly.
And then it's like, and the only reason I actually mentioned a dollar amount in the last video is because the last time I posted something, or even just I posted on Instagram that I got the Star Killer set, and I tagged the seller that I got it from, and they were getting like bombarded with messages, mostly from people that were complaining about the price, you know, that like weren't serious, you know, thinking they're going to pay US retail for it and then pay $8 shipping or something. And so I didn't want to like bombard them with messages, but I also don't want to gatekeep and be like,
sure,
I'm not telling you where I got it.
Yeah, it's my
I'm
secret.
Special.
Yeah. Well, you are special, Luke.
It did make me happy that one person that like complained or just like called me out or like basically like said it was lame that I paid that much to get it early. I really just want to reply to their comment and be like, it's already made its money back. That video.
Yeah, it was worth it
like
for you.
31,000, and I got over 100 subscribers out of it. Yeah, like some of those turn into Patreon subscribers, hopefully. And, you know, you never know. So,
absolutely, it's your money, it's your channel. If you want to do that, all for it.
You knock yourself out. Keep crushing it. Malgus, though.
That's true.
I know somebody who does though.
Yeah, should we go into fine editions?
I think that I did the wrong one. I'm a rookie.
This is your first time.
Let's do it. I'll go ahead and go. We'll do the sixth transition, but I'm going to save that one for last because you have to. I do want to cheat a little on fine editions. I do want to show off just some stuff that I've had for the longest time, but some people may be surprised I've never opened them until recently. I opened up this Darth Maul, the comic one without the shirt.
You opened that up on Ken Plume? No, you didn't open that up on Ken Plume.
No, I opened the next one I did on his show, but the only reason I opened this one up is so I could take an Instagram picture of all four of them, all four of the Darth Mauls, since I got the other new one recently. Oh, I just knocked over so many figures. What's frustrating with those, I have so many figures on my desk, and like a lot of them are holding lightsabers, and then this one has fallen on the back lightsaber so much it's starting to bend a little. So
I talk about that in my review of the Darth Mauls that I just did on my channel.
Good plug.
Where I posted that very tasteful picture of Darth Maul loving Darth Maul.
Hasbro's taking your style.
I like it.
And then I also just recently opened what is this, Arvala 7 Mandalorian? With
it's Maldo Kreese.
Maldo Kreese. I can never remember those.
It's okay. I don't know why I can. Honestly, I wish I couldn't.
But
we all knew those planet names before, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I finally got the spider out of the box.
It's a good spider, right?
It's so good. Like, look at the details on that.
And you got to paint those eyes. It'll really. Yeah, the ones that are on the bottom too.
I've seen two people put the spider upside down. Like they turned all the legs over.
Why?
Because they're wrong. I don't know.
Like, not on purpose.
No, I don't.
What
think
if I would have showed it like this?
Yeah.
Oh, like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I actually like the other than the eyes, like the color, it's like an off-white, creamy type color. It's really nice.
For our audio listeners, join the Patreon.
Yes, thanks for the plug, Luke. And then I also recently picked up, well, I guess now we're starting to get into the actual fine editions. This ARF Trooper,
Nice.
which I don't think I talked about. I don't think I talked about this on the last show, so hopefully I didn't. But I also I peeled off the visor and then just re-glued it down so it actually sits nice and low, because they do send them like sitting kind of high. So I feel like that looks a lot better along that ridge there, which is cool. And I think this can technically be a named clone. I forget of course I forgot his name now. It's like, I forget, somebody can remind me. They fought the Commandos in the show. I also got Dogma, which is cool. Great paint on this one. Old Master Maul finally came in the mail.
I was just watching Rebel Season 3 last night, and you actually do see Maul in just that look when they're in the
Oh,
cave.
do you really?
Yeah.
Yep. You do.
Interesting.
Someone pointed that out because I said that in my video, and someone pointed out that he does show up in wearing that in season 3.
So he can go on your Rebels shelf just like that.
He can. It's just weird that they called it, Gaming Greats instead of Rebels when he could have just easily been Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
But if it
Look
was
at
a
that
main
Kanye
one, we'd
West
still be
face.
waiting for it. So
True.
And then let's move on to the... Oh, I forgot about this other clone. Real quick. Kicks came in the mail today, which is awesome. Last minute fine edition for the show.
nice. That's such a cool paint job.
It is. Yeah, my little backpack cover
Ooh, I
Oh,
falls
might
off all
get
the
that
time
one.
too.
All the time, yeah.
I haven't
Kicks
gotten
is
any
so
of
good.
those with the backpacks yet.
The backpacks are amazing. They're
No,
such
I'm
a
gonna
good...
order some right now.
They're such a good add-on.
That's what happens when I go 3 days without buying a figure.
You get itchy.
Dare I say, is this the best AliExpress clone they've done? The Kicks?
I think so.
Far? I feel like it's up there with the Apo is still good with the pauldron and all that, but it has a backpack and like the actual paint, the painted logos, the red.
Yep.
I was worried the shoulder one was not there because it took a while for me to see a picture of that on there, but Kicks is probably the best one.
The Jesse that they have with just the standard Phase 2 armor, that's not the right helmet for the ARC Trooper Jesse, right?
No, it's not ARC Trooper. No. I bought it thinking I could just swap the helmets out, but the ARC Trooper Jesse has a lot more blue
Okay.
on the helmet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, the one that Hasbro made is right, except for the fin and the antenna. Like, it's weird. That's a weird choice. Yeah.
Another fine addition. Going to the Old Republic stuff, I picked up Bastilla Shan, which is cool. This is one of the ones that keeps falling and the lightsaber starts to bend. It's just so frustrating that, like with that comic Darth Maul, the peg on the saber is nice and thick. But on these ones, they're back to doing these really thin lightsaber blade pegs for some reason. It's really frustrating whenever figures fall and they bend very easily.
Yeah, and if you don't want to stand them up, like if you're having trouble, you have to figure out how to put them down without the lightsaber bending.
And especially
It's
when
really
they're double bladed, so there's no really good way.
Yep.
I also picked up Darth Malik. So my local comic shop posted these on their Facebook page, so right whenever I finished work, had to go scoop them up. I absolutely love this figure. Could potentially be figure of the year because of the face detail underneath the helmet and all that, or that mask piece. But I feel like this figure still takes over that spot so far. And it's the Darth Malgus. Was in total shock.
I'm so angry. I'm so angry about this.
You
Was
don't
in
have it either
total
yet,
shock
Mike?
to find this.
No, I feel like the only person
Same.
other than you who didn't really want it. I feel like the only person who wants this and hasn't received it yet. It's ridiculous. I have it on pre-order from Hasbro Pulse and Amazon. just waiting to see who ships it first. And I haven't gotten an inkling off of either of them. But the Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store have shipped it out, but not from in stock. They've only been people that have pre-ordered it. So I can't like go pre-order it now and get it, you know, because it's and then Zach here finds it at his local comic shop, and I'm just so angry.
Just completely random too. You know, they have another one of these, so I might be able to go up there for you, and if they still have it, pick it up.
If they do, I will take it.
Just look how amazing that is.
Yeah, it honestly, I don't see how this isn't figure of the year for me. I really don't.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely figure of the year, unless like if Chrysanthemum came with some extra accessories, I could see that passing it up.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's still going to be the Darth Malgus. Like, he just towers over all of the figures that are around him. His lightsaber is almost the size of a normal figure, which is insane. Some people have asked me, is he the best Black Series of all time? Because that's kind of what he's been hyped up to potentially be. I still feel like I lean Gamorrean Guard over Malgus, but this is a very impressive figure.
With something like that, you always have to give it time. You can't make a judgment like that, because you always have things like recency bias, and like you really need to mull it over. You need to like let things settle to see how you're still feeling a week or a month from now.
Yeah. But I feel like the Gamorrean Guard is going to be overall like a better. This one has the articulation on it's great though for being such a big figure. But that's absolutely fantastic. Glad to finally get that one. Mike, you're up on fine additions.
Fine. We'll start with the thing I have the least of, and that is G.I. Joe. I got two of these, but I'm only showing one. This is the Cobra Eel. I like him. He's just an underwater boy who likes to swim around, and he looks really good. I like that his helmet comes off, but you can see his like his face through the mask, which I think is really cool. Yeah. So it sucks for the people that don't have him, because he's Amazon exclusive, and he wasn't supposed to come out for like another month or so, but then a lot of people got a notification saying it was coming out super soon, and then I got mine, and then Amazon sent out notifications saying, just kidding, they're all getting delayed again. So I don't know what happened there. I got mine, and it sucks for the people that didn't get theirs. So I got two of those. Then I got some clones, same as you. I got Tup.
Nice.
Who's probably my least favorite one.
That's why I didn't pick him up, because I feel like just the teardrop is like...
Yeah. I got him because of the Clone Wars episodes with Tup.
Yeah.
I liked Tup.
He was on Umbara, wasn't he?
Yes, but he got killed. Was he the one where his chip malfunctioned in season 6?
Oh, and he started shooting,
and he shot the Jedi, and then they killed him and took his chip out and stuff, and that's how Fives found out about it. So I got Tup basically for that reason.
And then that was Tup. I might have to pick up Tup now.
See? And then I did get Dogma as well, and Dogma looks a lot cooler for sure. And he was featured pretty heavily on the Umbara arc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dogma's so good with that the contrasting red arrow on his helmet.
For sure. And then I did get the kicks, and I think I'm gonna glue that little thing on. Like,
It's so frustrating.
I don't need to pull it off. Like I don't need it to be removable. It does have a spot where you could put things in there, but like, what would I ever put in there?
A med pack.
I'll put my Endor Trooper face in there is what I'll do.
Perfect.
Yeah. But he's good. I love kicks a lot. And then I have a question for you. Do you remember how many Cosmic Legion figures I had on our last episode?
Like, do you mean that specific episode or total?
Oh yeah, in total. Like, well, I had just gotten them for the last episode. Like,
yeah, you had like 2 or 3.
I had 2
max.
Yeah, I had 2.
And now you got like 12.
Now I have 8. So in the last 2 weeks, I've gotten 6 more.
He's obsessed.
I can't stop it, man. I've not felt this way about a toy line in a long time. Like, so, with Star Wars, like I love the Black Series because I love Star Wars. And there are a lot of figures where like, yeah, this looks really good. I really like it. But I'm just kind of comparing it to, okay, this Luke Skywalker looks like Luke Skywalker. I'm getting what I saw on screen in hand, and that's cool. But with these guys, like, I'm just in awe of how unique it looks, how different it looks, the detail that goes into it. And it just is what it is as a figure. Like, I'm not saying, oh, I like this because it looks like something I'm used to. I'm just saying this just looks cool as a toy. And I like that aspect of it. So the first one I got these in waves of 2 because I'm like, okay, I'm just going to spend a little bit more money. And I ordered 2. And then I got those. And I'm like, okay, maybe just a little bit more money. And that just kept going. But this is Varga.
The colors on it are insane.
Yeah, she's got this big ass gun that plugs into her backpack, which right there, which is pretty cool. She comes with an alternate head that has like a mask on, so it's not like a part that comes off. And she's got a couple different hands, which is neat. Then with that same order, I got this guy who is a Tusk scientist. And he's just like a white robot alien dude.
Interesting.
Yeah, and there's not even a lot of paint on this. Like, he's just white. This blue piece is actually something you could pop off. It's just colored plastic. And then he does have underneath this mask, he's got like that's blue in there. And
I was gonna say, could you change the color? But since that it's blue
no,
in there under there.
I could change the chest piece here, and then I've done the same thing I did before, where I've put different heads on them, like a cat head and stuff, because it just looks like someone's wearing a spacesuit,
like a spacesuit,
yeah, which is pretty cool. And what I like about him is his proportions are a little bit more inhuman, like his legs kind of bend backwards at the ankles, and he's only got 3 fingers on his hands and stuff like that. So I dig that. He also comes with a cool alien face. If you don't want to be like a robot dude, you can just put an alien head on him. So I had fun with those. And then that led to this one. This is another Tusk. This is a Tusk Scout. And he has a robot head too, but I put the alien head on him because I like the look of the helmet bubble. And I felt like, a robot wouldn't need a helmet bubble. So I put the alien head.
Yeah, that makes more sense to have like a living, breathing thing underneath it.
He's also not really painted, which is kind of a bummer. He's just like a flat gray. And like they're not the same body. They have some subtle differences, like their legs are different, but like a lot of the pieces are shared. They're just colored differently. And that's kind of what Cosmic Legions does. So if you're one of those people, it's like, oh, they're reusing parts. Like maybe Cosmic Legions isn't for you. But then
it looks like they put all the paint budget into that first figure you showed.
Well, and then also
a rainbow.
This figure.
Oh yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. So this is a Sphexian guard or something. Like he's got these little arms on his chest, and these wings are gorgeous. Like the way they're translucent and stuff.
It looks like they're shiny too.
Yeah, they are.
It looks like they glimmer a little when you showed it like that.
Yeah. And what's neat is he's basically just like, when it comes down to it, he's basically this guy. Like they have the same legs, and like there's the same torso underneath here. He just has this big piece that kind of goes on top of him to give him more of that like hunched over look. And then like this is just his little bug butt is just like a piece that clips on, and then his little bug crotch plate right here is just it's part of the belt. So like they literally just took a random human figure and just glued a bunch of shit on him to make him look awesome. But there's that. And then just yesterday and today I got these. This is the final of the little Tusk army builders. This is the engineer. It's a kind of a girl body. She's all black. She comes with an alien head as well. So she doesn't show up on camera as well, but I have the robot head on her because I like the way that looks.
That looks
with like
awesome.
it looks cool. But that's not the big one. The big one is this one. And this is the thing I love the most. This might be my favorite figure of the entire year. And that's Kragnar here. He
Wow.
is just
Wow.
freaking, he's gigantic. He, like this is the,
Holy crap. That's like double the size at least.
yeah. So let me get like a,
How's the
like, I have a
articulation
picture.
on those? Does it feel like McFarlane articulation? Does it feel like Hasbro articulation, NECA?
It's about the same as NECA, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Like, do the figures
Maybe-
feel kind of like that harder plastic?
No. I have never felt like I was going to break a figure from moving it. Although they do send a little warning saying like the first time you move stuff, you should heat it up. But the NECA figures all have that kind of delicate, brittle feel to them. Whereas this feels heftier, but more solid than almost any other figure I could have. Like this is a beefy figure.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just like a 4-armed alien. He has what I like about him is he has Pong Krell vibes to him, but there's no lightsabers big enough to fit in his hands, which is kind of a bummer. But what's cool is like he's got these spots on his back for the arms to go into. But if you don't want that, you can take them out and they have fillers that just kind of go in there.
Oh, so you can have him be 2-armed also.
Yeah, you can have him be 2-armed. You can have him be 4-armed. He came with an alternate face. This is like the mad looking face, like some scratches, and he has like a non-scratched kind of normal looking face. And then he comes with 2 fists and then 2 kind of open hands and then 2 just like holdy hands. So you've got like options for how you want to display him, which is pretty cool. Like all this stuff comes off. But what's neat about it is this is the 3rd version of this figure I have on pre-order. It's just the first one I've gotten. But the other 2 are like dragon dudes. But the only difference between this figure and the dragon dudes is the head is just a full-on dragon head instead of this like weird duck-faced alien kind of thing. Like they even have the spots on the back for arms. They just have those fillers in them.
Mm-hmm.
So again, in theory, they could come out with stuff to put in there, which is pretty cool. But I love this, and honestly, I think this might be my favorite figure of the entire year so far of any line. But yeah, he's got he's got joints in here, like a torso joint. You can get a decent amount of movement. The only thing that I wish was a little bit better is the arms don't have a great elbow movement. Like that's about as good as it gets, just because they're so big, and there's no butterfly joints. And I think if they could have figured out a way to do that, I know that'd be a lot harder, especially with 4 arms. But if they could have figured out a way to do that, it would have made it a lot more articulated. But it's still really good. Just like the detail and the paint alone, I just love this so much.
That is actually really incredible.
That whole series
is.
has such a sense of passion behind it. It's just so creative and fun.
Absolutely.
And they
So
also just get to do whatever they want without having to like, because most of the time people have to make action figures over characters that were designed
exactly,
for TV or movies, and you're just so limited. So
that's what I like. That's kind of what I was alluding to earlier. Is that it just they've got so much creativity in there to just make something that looks cool for the sake of looking cool. They don't have to worry about like, does this look like Luke Skywalker? Does this look like the alien from the Cantina? Like it just, this is just a big beefy 4-armed alien dude. Yeah. And this is just a white robot space guy,
2 arms, 4 arms, we don't care. You pick.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. You can do whatever you want. And all their parts are very interchangeable. So like for the figures that use like this body, all the heads work, all the arms work, and this whole thing can be fully disassembled and reassembled very easily. So it's
wild.
It's very easy to customize, which is really cool.
That Black Series figures or Marvel Legends aren't more consistent with just the neck peg size and all these things that could do the same.
It seems so simple. It seems so simple to do. I don't know if they leave it up because I know they hire a lot of different sculptors to do everything. So it's do they just let everyone kind of build their figure and then they add that stuff later? Does it have to do with like the size of the neck? I don't know.
But it is kind of frustrating. Like it's very rare to be able to just like mix and match parts for customs.
Yeah, so Kirby asked me a question. Do I have High Warden Slog? No, that's one of the 3 figures I don't have from Wave 1 now. I don't have High Warden Slog, and I don't really want to get him. He's pretty expensive, and I don't know. Like, he looks cool, but I just don't know if I want to invest that much in something that's not really anything more than like a big statue for the most part. I don't have... There's I don't have him out here, but there's like 2 versions of the same character. His name is Oleg Thygar. I showed him off in the last episode. There's one with a spacesuit and one without a spacesuit. I have the spacesuit version, and I have no interest in getting the non-space. I don't need 2 versions of the same guy. And then there is a bug like this, but he's red, and he doesn't have like a face mask on. It's just his bug face. And that's the only one that I'm actively considering getting, just because it is it's kind of a different figure. It's as different as like, this guy is from this guy. Like they're the same guy, but they're slightly different. So I might get the red bug at some point, but for right now, I think I've satisfied myself.
So next episode, you'll have
I'll have
4
like a
more.
bunch more.
You'll have
Well, if
the
I
whole
get
wave.
those, that's it. Because like now I just have to wait for the second wave to come out, and I only care about 2, maybe 3 of those. But I only have 2 pre-ordered right now, and I don't really care about the others in the wave. Yeah. But we'll see.
What is the market for Cosmic Legions like? Like, do they go way up in value afterwards? Are they do they stay in stock for a long time? Is it pretty much like made to order? How does that? What's their market like?
Yeah, because it has to do with the way that they manufacture their toys, and I think Zach did talk about this with. Did we talk about this at the
with Jake?
With Jake? Yeah, where they do it with they'll have to organize my thoughts here. They'll put up a pre-order period. And they have one going on right now with the 4th wave of Cosmic Legions figures, where they'll say, these are the figures that you can buy as many as you want. We'll make them because they used to do this as a Kickstarter.
Well in advance.
Yeah, but like this is how maybe I'm going all in. It's $300 to get everything in the wave, which is cheaper than buying them all individually. But like this is how people like Big Bad Toy Store and like Nerdzoic and Empire Toys and stuff, like they'll put in orders for all of these, and then the 4 Horsemen ship them to those people. So everyone's kind of buying them right now for wholesale. And then the like Big Bad Toy Store and the other places will put them up for their retail, the quote unquote retail sell. So like I think these guys go for $45 versus I think they were $30 on
Okay.
when they were in stock. And for the people listening, that's the like the scientist guy, because these are meant to be like army builders, so they make them a little bit cheaper. They don't come with as much, but they make them a little cheaper so that you can, it's easier to buy more of. Whereas like this big guy, he goes for $60 if you buy him from the initial pre-orders, but then Big Bad Toy Store will put them up for like $80. So that's their markup basically for the people that didn't get it. But like once they do those pre-order period, that's pretty much it. Like they'll have a couple they've made outside of that, and sometimes they'll do an in-stock sale, but it's very much like this is the run. They don't really do second runs that often. So once things go out there, like the aftermarket just kind of goes up and up. And there are some mythic creatures that are
reuse a lot of stuff though, right?
Yes, they do. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The customizing community for this must be really
inspired.
Huge. Yeah.
Yep. It's huge. Well, and part of it's because, they make it so easy because everything's pretty much compatible with everything else.
That's so fun because I love when Black Series figure comes out, like Nihilus, and someone's like, hey, put it on the Kylo body, and everyone's like, oh, that looks, and then everyone kind of goes,
it looks so much better. Yeah.
I love when people can discover stuff like that, and I'm sure that happens a lot with Mythic Legion, which sounds like, hey, but you never thought to put this arm on this figure.
Yep. Yeah, and I love it when I see like you do that stuff, or when you take an existing figure and you change it with like your resin prints and stuff like that, and turn it. You turned what's his face, the Doc Ondar into Hammerhead, which isn't as hard, granted, but it is different.
Paint, yeah, but
yeah.
It's the best when someone just like puts a certain accessory with a certain figure, like, oh, I have those right here. Like
exactly. Like I can make that guy.
Yeah.
Of course, the opposite's true sometimes. Like with this, there was a convention exclusive where like I'm looking at it. I'm like, I could make this guy right now if I wanted to, based on the figures that I have. So like, do I want to buy this figure, or do I want to just use, make it using the parts I already have? So it kind of can bite you in the ass depending on how deep you get into that. But sure, absolutely. I think that's cool that people can do that.
Luke, do you have any fine additions you want to chat about?
I like that you made him big, not that anyone can see anything.
For I'm probably going to listeners, I'm holding up season 1 Ahsoka. No, let's see. During the Out of the Basement stream last week, they mentioned how on AmiAmi, if you go to the last page of the Figure Arts listings, you get all of the pre-owned for.
I did not know that was a thing until that.
I didn't either.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I went and checked and bought the Scout Trooper and Speeder bike, which someone at Frank and Son had for like $250. And I told myself, I was looking at what it goes for now, and it retailed for like $165 or something. But I was like, if I ever find this for like under $200, I'll snag it. And it was under $200, so I bought that. So I just got that. It's pretty cool. It's much darker and like a little bit more realistic looking than the Black Series one. And then I actually really like the Scout Trooper a lot more than I thought, because a lot of times Figure Arts troopers are a little wonky looking. They have really wide shoulders or like really big gaps in the joints and gaps in the armor and that sort of thing. But I was really happy with it. He doesn't really fit on the speeder. Like I was having trouble getting him to look like he's actually riding it. But that was just kind of an exciting thing to get in the mail. And it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, if I ever want to get rid of it, I'm getting what I paid. They're never going to remake it. It's I'm at least going to make my money back. So it was kind of like an easy impulse buy. I got the Black Series Scout Trooper helmet, which is the first Black Series helmet that I've ever bought at retail. I think I got the Stormtrooper helmet a couple years ago when I was collecting, but didn't really have a place for it. But the Scout Trooper helmet, just saw it at Target and was like, I want to try weathering this and painting it. Because I've never really done full scale props, and now that I've got so much paint experience over the last couple of years, I wanted to try something life size. So I actually spent the last couple hours weathering that up today, and I think I need to do a couple more passes. I'm still kind of learning how the materials react to like the smooth surface. Because I would like do all this weathering, it would look amazing, and then I try to like wipe some of it off, and it would just all come off. And so it's just trying to figure out exactly how to make that work. That was a lot of fun because I'd love to have some more life-size props without having to spend like $800 on an EFX or Denuo Novo helmet. And so being able to buy Black Series helmets and then or 3D printing my own and making them look kind of screen accurate is going to be fun. So just another pickup. I'm trying to think what else.
You can talk about the Star Killer if you want, because that's pretty sick.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
I got Star Killer a couple of weeks ago. And I don't think anyone else has picked him up. There's like one other guy that has a review up on YouTube that, but I don't know if anyone else has put one up. But he was available at some convention in Hong Kong, which is kind of surprising. And then someone that I buy stuff from just hit me up. Was like, hey, you want them? It's going to be this much. And I was like, no, that's all right. I'll just wait. Cause I don't want to like, basically you're paying extra for stormtroopers. Like you're paying import prices to get 2 stormtroopers. But I figured it was worth getting. And I'm glad I did, because it did really well on the channel. I think it's about like 31K views. So it's kind of made the money back
for that.
And it's nice just to like have him on the shelf and not have to worry about ordering him from PulseCon or worrying about it going out of stock. And so that review is up on my channel. Yeah, I haven't got Malgus yet. That one was one that everyone started getting him right when I did my Star Killer review, and I was like, I don't really feel like reviewing this one, honestly. Like, I'm not too personally excited about it. I don't have any emotional attachment to the character. But
don't lie, Luke. You were so hyped to get it, and then you saw that I got it first, and now you don't want it because
if I can't be first, I don't want it at all.
Exactly.
That checks out. absolutely checks out. Yeah.
But,
Who lives in the future now, baby? It's
but also,
me.
it's a cool enough figure that like the idea of being able to kind of find that someday in store excites me more than being able to like do a review on it early. So I'm kind of keeping that one as every once in a while I give myself one where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna walk in a Frankenstein or walk in a GameStop one day and it's gonna be sitting there, and it's gonna be really fun because it's so rare to be able to have that experience.
Yeah, that's what excited me about this Malgus figure so much, because I went to that comic shop because they posted a picture of the Malik and Bastilla Shan. So I get there and there was another guy there. I was kind of chatting to him for a little bit, and then he had a stack of Black Series figures, so I was nervous that he got to him already. And then, but I was chatting with him, and he said he only collects droids or something. So fortunately, I saw the Bastilla Shan, and then Darth Malik was right behind him. And then I had him in my hand, and I was just kind of looking at the figures, and then I looked up because it's like a pretty tall wall. I looked up and there was just Darth Malgus sitting like right there, and I'm just like, for 30.
One of those things where you're like, you
35,
feel like you're dreaming.
I was like stunned, and I haven't been that hyped to find something in hand because 90% of the figures we buy these days are online unless you pre-order something and then you cancel the pre-order because you find it in store. But that's not usually like something like super hype like it was 7 years ago, maybe, when you had to go hunting at the Walgreens for the exclusives and all that.
I've very rarely been able to like walk into a store and actually find something at retail.
So, it was nice to finally get like some of that nostalgia back almost from like figure hunting and going and finding something.
The first
and then it was
time
funny.
Okay, go ahead.
I would say it real quick. It was funny because I was like, why didn't they post this one on their Facebook? That doesn't make any sense. Do they not realize it's not supposed to be out for like another 2 months? And then I got home and realized they had posted it like half an hour ago from when I got home. So I feel like at least a couple people drove to that store thinking they're going to get a Malgus.
Yeah.
And then they're empty handed. So I must have bought it like 5 minutes after they posted it.
It's their fault for not calling first.
Exactly. And I think once you do get it though, I think everybody will be really, really impressed with this figure once they get it.
They also today I picked up some GameStop clearance deals, which I just kind of didn't think I was gonna have a chance at because there's really not any GameStops near me. They closed the one that is like right next to the Target that I go to all the time, and so the nearest one is like 20 something minutes away. So GameStop is like such a treat to me whenever I'm like out of town or like visiting family and they have a GameStop in the town. I always hit it because it's fun. It's one of the few places to like find a wide variety of Black Series figures where you'll find old stuff and you just never know. And they just built one like 2 months ago that I didn't know about, and it's between this like my favorite donut shop and then my favorite like sandwich shop and then our grocery store. And so I was like, oh, we're gonna come here. I'm gonna go here every weekend now. Every time I get groceries, swing by the GameStop.
You're gonna have like breakfast trips, and then you can hunt at GameStop and wherever, and then go to the sandwich shop
of donuts.
There you go.
But
where's Luke? Oh, he's probably at GameStop.
Yeah. But so they actually had some clearance deals, which I didn't think I would see around my area, just because we're live in a big city. And so I picked up 2 Riot Scout Troopers. Because actually the Riot Scout Trooper I have, I gave his baton to the custom KX droid that I did. Oh wait, no, that one comes with a baton. Never mind. But anyway, it comes with some cool accessories like the little electricity effect of the shield. I ended up paying $11 total for both of them because I had some points, I had my monthly coupon, and then it came out to like
nice
$13, and the second one was half off of that. So $11, and I was like, worst case, give them to someone's kid that comes over, or like I've had a couple friends come by where we start talking about Star Wars, and then I let them leave with like a stormtrooper. I'm like, here, take this.
I need to go to Luke's house.
Yeah, free figgies for everyone.
It's just like a gift bag when you go in.
Yeah,
just handsome. Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Luke's house and be like, that painted Anakin looks really nice.
I'm like, this yellow Tusken Raider is one of the rarest figures, but I think you should have it.
What a troll.
Technically, it is one of the rarest figures because I never see anyone that has it.
Fair point. That's because they're all on the pegs, I guess. For $8 online. I haven't pulled a trigger on any of those. Like, I really want a couple of those, the B1 the battle droids from Survivor, I guess, with the white stripe down the middle of the head and kind of the maroon color. If I see a couple of those for like $8, I'll probably grab it.
Yeah, those are cool.
Because my B1 battle droid section in the collection is really lacking. I only have the standard one and the heavy one they did that's kind of colored like Geonosis, but a little darker and has the real heavy gun and the backpack.
That's a cool one.
Those are the only two I have. I don't have the plain Geonosis one. I don't have any of the Gaming Greats repaints. So I really need my battle droid section is lacking, and the clones are outnumbering them like crazy. So I need to get on that.
You got to get a Figure Arts battle droid. Those are really cool.
Are they? Do they?
They just like have that hard plastic, and they're just like they're so clean. Like the mold or like the print is so sharp, as a action display always says. And they're just beautiful. I found one at Frank's once that I think someone thought was a Black Series figure. So it was priced at like $30 for just like the classic beige B1. And I think the color is a little bit more of my headcanon, like that kind of like a little bit more beige color, than white. The Black Series one is almost like very light beige, almost white.
Yeah, I want a 3D print like sort of not like a giant thing, but just like a little battle. Like a little battle area. I can put a couple clones and droids in. I think that'd be cool. So I definitely need to get some more droids to.
I have that Geonosis column on my Patreon that is like such a nice, easy. You could just easy paint, and that's like a nice piece that kind of like it's a little diorama, but it doesn't take up more space than a figure.
Yeah, and fortunately, you've been able to help me not only with 3D printing whenever I first got started, but with like the paint chipping on like the stuff that I print, like and some figures like that. That was a really good tip that you gave, and just like the tips you've given on dry brushing. And so I encourage everybody listening, if you print stuff but you don't like weather them to make them look a little better, if I can do it, anybody can do it, because it's actually a lot easier than it looks to, at least for smaller things like, I'm trying to think what I've done. Like this Hoth turret that I did, I definitely wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for
that Ned B video that I made.
The Ned B video helped a lot.
I can't believe how many people, because it's like, if you search dry brushing on YouTube, there's like thousands and thousands of videos, because it crosses over so many different hobbies, and it's just like videos from 25 or like 15 years ago of like model makers and stuff. It's like such an old technique, but I guess I wanted to keep it concise and really clear, and just really emphasize like you can do this with like $8 worth of stuff from your hobby shop, and just keep it really simple. And I think that's why I did well. But I get so many messages still of people being like, I started weathering figures because of this video.
That video, like I basically followed that video to do my what's the green, is it Fixer, the Green Republic Commando? Like I put a wash on him, and he looks far better than the other a couple of the other ones, because it actually brings out those little cracks and crevices.
Yeah, if you do a gray wash instead
figure.
of like a black wash with the clones, it actually looks really cool. I wanted to I did my one, I think I did Fixer or Boss for Delta Squad, and I think I did like a matte spray on it, because I kind of like the way, especially when it's something from like animated, it's like their armor's not shiny in the game or in Clone Wars even, like it's not super shiny, and so I think a matte spray looks really cool on Troopers sometimes.
And we know you're a big fan of soft goods too.
Oh, yeah. You love soft goods.
Oh yeah. It is kind of funny to like look at my shelf and find the soft goods that are still there. Like,
is it very few and far between?
What soft goods do you find acceptable? For the people that are listening, Luke does not like soft goods. That's the joke.
He despises them.
I 3D print my own hard goods to replace my soft goods. I have my Count Dooku cloak. I think looks okay. I like robes, so like Darth Malak, like even the Darth Malgus, and like that hood. I'm like, I wish that was sculpted.
The hood is so good though.
But it is one of the better
ones. For
Black
Black Series, it's good.
I like the Doc Ondar soft goods. I like Vader's cape. I have Vader's cape though, pulled down around the hexagon stand and taped. so it like
Smart.
lays flat and straight, and I think it looks so much better. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I like the soft goods on my Hot Toys, but it's like that's kind of the look. It's like with Hot Toys, if it's supposed to be cloth,
the
it's gonna
price
be
point,
cloth.
yeah.
And the
Yeah.
scale, more importantly, I think. But
Yeah, this the scale that makes the cloth look good.
Yeah.
Well, that and Hot Toys also wires their capes, and I honestly think that if Hasbro wired the soft goods, it would look better.
I have figure arts with soft goods capes that are wired, and they drive me nuts. I'm honestly not.
Yeah, that's
huge
one of the
fan.
things. I thought I was going to like the SH Figure Arts Darth Vader cape a lot, but the wired absolutely drives me crazy.
The thing
on
that
this one.
I finally figured it out. Like the thing that really kills me about soft goods, like Mike, hold that figure up that you're about to show.
Yeah, this one right here.
Like I see two different things. Like it reminds me of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit when you've got animation on top of live action. Like it doesn't feel consistent to me, and it's like when people do like photos of like Lego minifigures, or in the Lego games where it'll be like some stuff's made out of Lego and the other stuff's like real world terrain. That bothers me. I'm like, I want it to all be one consistent art style. I don't want to.
You want one medium.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I think that's the thing that gets me.
Okay, I can appreciate that.
And then also like the way that Jedi robes and stuff look, where they just look ridiculous and they're just sticking out all over the place.
So you don't collect Mezco, is what we're hearing.
Correct, but some of those look cool. Like I think if all Black Series had Mezco style clothes, that would be different. But it's just when they randomly, switch. Like the ceremony Leia is like a great example of something that just makes my eyes bleed. Like where it's like it's the same dress and then halfway through it just totally changes, and it's like my brain doesn't see that as one dress.
What do you think
that's a leather
of
top.
Doc Onder?
That one
he's
doesn't
kind of a
bother
mixed
me. Yeah,
medium.
I think it's
Yeah.
because the outer thing. Same with like Vader, kind of because it's like the armor's hard and then the cloth is soft. But it's tricky. It depends.
It like holds it in place almost. It holds it to make it look good and not.
Yeah, so it does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, and it doesn't just flow everywhere and.
But yeah, I don't have a solid answer for it, but it's kind of a case by case. But I also like understand, why people might like it. But I also grew up with the Phantom Menace line, and those were really sculpted plastic robes. Where the elbow was permanently bent, and and so maybe I have some sort of attachment to that.
I remember when they came out in the Phantom Menace line with the Naboo versions of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan that had the robes on, and then they also had two versions. It was the first. It was the first figures they had with two versions of the lightsaber, one ignited and one unignited.
Oh, cool.
And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, where now you could plug the lightsaber into the belt. Like, it was rad. It was mind blowing at the time.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know what drives me crazy about older figures? And it's not really a thing modern days, but for back in the day, whenever like the Jedi robes, you would take the Jedi robes off, but the arms were colored for the robe, and you couldn't have the under robes. Like for Obi-Wan, for example, his arms would be brown, but he would still have that
That's
light
kind of what
colored tunic.
I ended up doing with my 3D printed Jedi robes.
Yeah, I know.
But,
whenever you made those, I was like, "You're painting the arms now. You can't take the robes
My
off."
Archive Anakin now is well, actually no, I switched out his arms because I wanted them to be a little bit baggier, because he has the robot arm, and I wanted that to be covered with a cloak. But like with the Kit Fisto and Mace Windu, I bought backups of those that have just so I have the standard body on hand. Whenever I like really customize something, I like having the original, either for a review or just like know that I have it, especially if it ever goes up in price. So if there's some things that retail like that, or I'm able to find for like $35 or something, I'll just keep the classic one. But I do love having my Jedi with the plastic robes like that. I just think it looks the way that I remember my figures looking.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about some 3D printing stuff, since you are sort of the 3D printing guru. And I do think it's funny. We mentioned this earlier that last time you were on, Mike was the one that was wanting to get into 3D printing. And now the tables have turned so far that I have the entire Landspeeder Luke, shrine over here, which is pretty cool.
I got what I needed out of it. Like, I got you to do it, which is way cheaper for me.
That is
and
true.
then you just print me the things that I want, and it works out. So I'm good.
All
Zach,
right,
I gotta say,
now.
your shelves behind you are begging for hexagon stands because look at all that negative space over the heads
true.
of each figure.
I know
Such wasted space.
So that's the one thing that, because you sent me a pair whenever
A while ago.
think I first started a long time ago. And then, so I have one of those over here, but that's I have a Marvel using those. And then I printed some, but then Mike wanted some. So I sent those to him and I haven't dove back in. I would love to
He's
get
blaming
them
me. The audacity.
I'm blaming Mike. But I want to do those, but it just seems so daunting because of how many shelves I have. And if I do it for one, I got to do it for all of them.
Well, it takes about, like, to do a 6-pack takes about 8 hours. So every day you could finish one of those shelves. So you've got like 15 shelves. That's like 2 weeks.
I could totally knock it out. It's just, sometimes it's just like, I'm printing all this other stuff.
I know,
I got the Cantina 4 hallway. And
No, you got to print a bunch
printer.
of those. Then print out a bunch of the Ken Plume shelf extenders that he's got.
Those are a good idea. Yeah, those are cool. Yeah, those. But what I would like to do is eventually do that. But I'm also gonna get like a bigger shelf for here, so that like pipe right there, that drain pipe will be covered. And then that'll be like mostly 3D printed stuff.
That's my
So
problem.
that way
I
have a
would
whole
love to
another wall.
showcase so much more of my 3D printed stuff, but I just like really my only display. I've got like 6 Hot Toys up on my desk, and then in the closet that I show on my YouTube channel. That's the extent. So I get basically like three shelves about 3 feet wide, and that's like all my room to display stuff. And so all I have really is my Jabba on display, and then almost everything is like customized in some way that's on display. So like certain things, like all the Rogue One figures, I just have the stock figures. I'm like, I put them out and I'm, when I got them and I'm like, okay, I don't need to look at these. So I have more figures in storage than I have on display. And there's some days where I wish I could just like see my whole collection at once.
Sorry, I just knocked over like 6 figures.
You know what? You should probably have it on there. That wouldn't happen with some hexagon stands.
Well, that's why I was grabbing this because I love these, the tiny ones.
Dude, okay,
so,
you gotta kill them.
Because I did have Ayla on one of them, and then she kept leaning backwards because I guess mine has loose legs or whatever because they've refused to sculpt new female legs. So I put 2 of them on there to get a good pose.
I like that she's
So now
got
they're
2 of those feet things on her. It looks like she's got weird snowshoes on. Yeah.
Right.
I really hate the way that stands look on shelves, like when people have their figures on a shelf on stands. But what I like about the hexagon stands, and I didn't even mean this when I designed them, but when you put the figure on the stand or on the like platform onto the actual riser, it like becomes part of the riser, and then the figure kind of just like is separate. Versus like when it's just on a shelf, I feel like the stand looks like it's part of the figure, and it looks like a little statue.
Yeah.
But I feel like the stands kind of disappear into the risers when it's all 3D printed the same way, especially if your shelf is the same color. Like I always tell people to print, if you got a white shelf, print them in white. So they kind of disappear a little bit.
I do them all in black. And then for the Tainted 4, you might be able to see it. I know you've seen pictures, but for the, we're not really going to see it, but for the Rebel Trooper that I have fallen down, I have him on a gray hex stand
nice.
to match the gray Tainted 4
That's what
hallway.
I did at the convention that I displayed my stuff at. I just had a little section of the Tana 4 and I had them on because I was like, they're going to fall over all weekend. And so I put them on little hex stands.
We might say that those hexagon stand and risers are the best original idea you've ever had.
I think so too. They're also like the one that I use all the time, and I like kind of forget that I made them when I'm like using them on my shelf because I made them so long ago.
Yeah, I bought some wood ones from Target.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, screw you, Mike.
I'm gonna have to talk to Tom Target about that.
Yeah, Tom Target stealing your hex ideas, and he's like, I'll make them out of wood.
I do own 6-sided shapes.
That's right. Every 6-sided shape is property of Landspeeder Luke.
Yeah.
So I do have a question. What do you? I know sometimes you like to release your 3D prints with shows that are kind of popular and like releasing. But what usually inspires you to come up with something? Like, do you say, I kind of want to do something original trilogy or sequel trilogy, or I want to go looking for something in Empire Strikes Back to print? Or is it more just like you see it and then it's like,
well, there's certain things like, so I put out like the Bespin chamber a couple months ago, like the carbon freezing chamber. That was something that I wanted to do a long time ago, but it was a little bit beyond my skill set at the time because I didn't start designing or learning anything till 2020. And so I still have a lot to learn. But it's usually something that I want, or I'll see something that kind of I feel like whatever people are kind of excited about in the moment, and just knowing what's coming out. So I'm like, okay, we got Star Killer. Like, what are people going to want to have with their Star Killer figure, or whatever's coming out in the main line, gaming grades, that sort of thing. And so sometimes, like, I have a list of ideas that people send me, or that I just kind of write down, stuff that I think would work well. I look a lot at like older play sets, because I think, when people have a huge nostalgic attachment to that, even if it's not something canon, like that droid depot assembly thing with the big crane. I've like looked at that and started kind of sculpting something and been like, okay, is this going to be exciting and fun, or is it just going to be boring? And I find that the things that do the best are the ones that are really generic. So like that hallway that I'd made that just you can put Delta Squad on, or I think I photographed it with like Delta Squad or like with Maul. That can kind of go into any era, anything, even Cosmic Legions, like that sort of thing. The Imperial Armory, or that where it's just like the shelves with the drawers and the racks for guns and helmets and stuff. That's like my number one, other than the hexagon stands. Like that one I see all the time getting tagged in. Like that one just feels like it's just gone on and on. People really love that one. The Doc Ondar one was really popular. The Cantina bandstand was really popular, and it's a very basic design, and it's not canonical at all, but it solves a problem. It's like, how are we going to display that? And so when I have something like that, where I kind of look, where there's like a hole in the black, in the series where there's
a problem that you're gonna fix.
That you need to fix, and that's the stuff that people get really excited about, and
it really just expands the collection like beyond I could even explain. Just like the collection before I had 3D printing, and now it's just like I have a whole ass Tana 4 hallway. The Cantina bandstand, trash compactor,
and my favorite stuff is the freestanding stuff like that Grogu meditation rock, or like I was saying, the Geonosian pillar before, where the stuff just. I mentioned this actually last time I was on. I heard, when I listened to it today, how like when you put that figure on your shelf, like that figure exists within that space. It doesn't have like hard edges, and it doesn't have like I don't like dioramas that are boxes. I like the stuff to kind of just be freestanding. And if you look at a lot of Lego sets, like they're the same way, where they just kind of exist within your space. And so freestanding pieces like that. Yeah, because it's like you're not going to have a full Geonosis arena. Because it's like, where do you draw those outlines?
Yeah, where does it end?
And so when
you got space for a 4-foot Jabba's palace here, Yeah.
But even that, you see, it's open-ended, it's like it doesn't have a back to it. It doesn't have the side. It only has that one wall.
Also, this isn't even the full 4 feet, because it wouldn't fit on this.
Yeah, no, I love that adjustment. I think that looks perfect. I actually like that aesthetically better than the full one. I think it looks a little bit more poetic.
Yeah, I think it's a little. I feel like the other one would be too wide for at least my room. If I had a bigger room down here.
Yeah.
Also, just you'd have to commit so much space to it to have that full 4 feet. Yeah. It is very ambitious and crazy though, and it's like a really amazing thing.
I also like that one feels reasonable as a print. It's a lot of negative space. I think printing I guess you didn't print that one, right? I sent you that. But like all of the big chunks at the bottom, like as the floor, are pretty boring to print. But yeah, just something where it's like that detail is baked in, and it looks like a playset. It doesn't look like a screen accurate diorama.
Right.
And I really like that sometimes. Like just
it still has more of a toy feel to it.
It feels like a toy. Yeah. And I the last year been making so many of my dioramas that are designed to print in the filament color that you can buy, and that also makes it feel more like a toy. Because I used to post my stuff and it'd be like airbrush, and I do all this detail and all of that. Like my Endor bunker, I did so much finishing on it, and the one that I have in my shelf looks so much better than the one that's on my Instagram. But I wanted to show you, like, hey, this is what it looks like straight off your printer, because I've got 3 years of painting experience now that a lot of other people don't have, and it's just it's not as obtainable.
Yeah, and another really great thing about that Jabba's Palace display is there's so many Jabba's Palace figures that if you have the space, it makes so much more sense to put them in that and like put them in a world.
Yeah,
rather
you can totally
than just
fill it out.
Yeah, rather than just have like make the figures interact, rather than just like have them standing on a shelf, because they're going to take up most of your Return of the Jedi display anyways. So you might as well just give them their own dedicated.
That's
space.
Another thing that I try to think about is there's so many, like everyone's like, oh, make the Jedi Council chamber. Can you make the Jedi Council chamber? And I'm like, well, we've got three
of them. Yeah.
And then only 2 of them can sit, or like, it's like they're not going to be able to really sit. And in print condition, made 3 of the chairs and that are really well designed for people that want them. But it's like that would be a sick one. But it's like, when there's major parts of a scene missing, I just won't bother, because then it's just like, so like the carbon freezing chamber, you're like, oh, we have almost every figure, or I think other than like Lobot or Ugnaughts, we've got everything we need there. And and so those are the ones that are really fun to make. And I mean, it's just like, I'm sure, Zach, when you got that Jabba's Palace, like the fun part is putting the figures in there. It's just like,
it's just like it just kind of takes you back to when you're a kid and you're playing with, see what, one of the biggest playsets I had, it was weird. It was like a pirate ship, but I almost used it for, I would have like Geonosis battles on it almost, even though it was just a pirate ship toy. So it just takes you back to playing with those like big play sets like that, and for Black Series collectors, we don't really get that. So it's nice to have all this world building, added on.
The Queen's like chrome starship from Phantom Menace.
Yep.
That toy was like a major memory of my childhood, having that interior to play around with.
Yeah, because it was more of a play set than it was a vehicle.
Yeah. And then the Millennium Falcon, the Lego Millennium Falcon, where the top would pop off. Or actually had the one that had like the different wings that would open, peel it like an orange. That was like the ultimate for me, just being able to like put the little minifigures inside that space. So,
well, even the Ghost is, I would say, more playset than it is vehicle.
Yeah. I've been looking at that a lot, being like, what are the most fun parts of the Ghost here that I can bring to Black Series scale?
I think a cockpit would be really cool. I think a scaled cockpit, and then maybe like a scaled, like, I don't know, bunk or sit area would be pretty cool.
The couch with the chess table.
Yeah.
Cool, because it's very different than the Millennium Falcon one.
Yes. Yeah.
And just like, I love the Rebels door that I did, because that you can just kind of set behind them on the shelf, and it brings in those colors. But the problem I always run into with cockpits is like, what does the outside of it look like? It's like, it's such where do you draw those lines? And I think like maybe having the back wall and then having the nose, like because also printing the frame for the cockpit when you can't print clear, and you can't have glass, really, like that always stumps me, where I'm like, I'm not feeling it. Something's missing.
So you have to leave it empty, sort of, so it's like a window, but
it's just a weird. That's why I've always struggled to kind of figure out how to do cockpits. And they're so detailed, and it's like so much work.
Yeah. Well, and then you need a lot of paint. You need a lot of, maybe some lights in there, and it's a lot. So what's been the thing you've been proudest about Like,
Ooh.
you're like, I really like the way this came out.
It's
the
interesting.
most.
Some of the ones that I've like saved are pretty simple, like the Cantina bar. That's just one that's like, it's so simple. It's just a half circle, and it's like so fun though. The Tana 4 hallway I've kept. I'm really proud of the hexagon stands because they're so basic,
versatile, and all
but
that.
it was like, I feel like I discovered something that's just been like waiting to be discovered. And
well, they solved a problem. Like there was a problem.
Hexagon risers, or but just being able to make something that prints, and then something that just like is so effective and works so well. Really proud of that one. It was one of those things that I started it, and then I kind of stopped and I let it sit for like a year. And it was one of those things where I'm like, this is so easy. Like someone must have done that, you know. But it's like I couldn't find something that worked online that like I actually wanted for myself, and so I was like, okay, I'll make it myself. I'm quickly going to my page right now to see like what my favorite things are that I've designed. I love my indoor bunker. That's, you know, I've done it 3 times now, but that's one that like I have on display, and that's one of those ones that I look at and I like, you just love it and you forget that you made it. Like it's just one of those things that makes me happy. Yeah, I love the Hoth one. The Wilhelm, that's awesome. The Millennium Falcon archway, like the round door, that one that I made, that's like the 2 pieces that just kind of snap together. That one I'm really proud of just from an engineering perspective.
That's one of the ones that is kind of pushing me to think about getting a bigger printer, because it doesn't fit on the Ender 3 V2.
Oh, right.
I don't think. Yeah, it's just like it's a little too big. So that's one of the ones
that's one of those ones where you're like, the whole point of it is that it's one piece. And so I do love the Yoda hut. I love the Han and Greedo chairs. So super simple.
Those are such a big upgrade from the previous existing Black Series too, because those are just cardboard.
Yeah.
So
I want to redo my Yoda hut as well, and change the way that it prints, and then change the shape of it a little bit, and then have it be a clamshell where you can like close it and open it. I think that would
that'd be cool.
Make a lot of people happy. And
I love the seat you designed for the client, where it has the spot
that was a fun one.
For the rubber cape.
Yeah.
I actually talked to at Celebration Anaheim, I talked to Emily from the Hasbro team, and she knew my work, and I showed her that video, and she's like, "Oh, we sent that all over the office." That video.
Here it is.
Cool.
That was
That's
cool,
crazy.
Yeah.
For those watching, this is what he's talking about. It's a chair
it's a smart
designed
solution.
for the
yeah.
So you can put the cape down in there and have him sit. Let's look at that paint job and weathering though real quick. Let's just admire.
Good job.
This is probably one of the first ones I did. I just wanted to make that blue look kind of old and not clean.
That's one that I really want to have on display, that the client and his table, because I gave it to Frederick, and every time I go to his place and see it in his detolf, I'm like, I want that. That looks sick.
You made it.
With the like remnant troopers around, and
it looks really good with all those little
I
like
really
bits and stuff on the table.
My dream setup that I just don't have space for in my home currently is those like IKEA cube shelves, or just something that's like space like that, where every other cube is going to be a diorama, and then each other one is going to be just a small set of hexagon stands that has a little theme to it. And that would be kind of like my dream setup.
Here you
asking if Hasbro came knocking, would I jump in and work on the Star Wars team? You know, that was kind of like the dream when you start, is like, I'm going to work on, you know, like I'm going to get hired at Hasbro, or like, and I think looking into it, I was like, the freedom to create that I have, and the freedom to set my own schedule is so fun that I don't know that it would be better working at Hasbro, you know?
Would you so instead of you could do like contract work, whether they
maybe I also, my sculpting is not toy industry standards. It's very specific to
3D printing.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm not that experienced of a sculptor, and the software that I know is very limited. It'd basically be like the equivalent of like a professional video editor that just uses iMovie on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they might be making really cool stuff, but it's like they're not ready to kind of work in the professional field. I did just meet someone yesterday that is an architect and uses a software that someone else has told me is a toy industry standard, and offered to teach me on weekends. And I was like, oh, okay, that'd be cool. Like that might be a nice step towards something else. But I don't know. I feel I'm so much fun doing what I do now with Patreon and all of that I don't know if I can't imagine like working on a life-size X-Wing just for it to end up sitting in someone's office.
Right. Hasbro better not take Landspeeder Luke away from us.
Mm-hmm. Also, I think like because I'm able to outsource designs to other designers, I can like come up with ideas and then hit up some of my sculptors and be like, hey, what if we 3D scanned the Darth Maul and made a scarf? And just like, so I'm kind of like, I'd have to be the lead designer on the Black Series where you just get to tell people what to make. Then I would take that job.
It'd be really funny if like, oh, Luke is working for Hasbro now, and then out of nowhere, Black Series Cantina and out of the basement are just dropping all these leaks. I wonder how that happened.
No, your channels will get taken down randomly.
That's right. You know, when I worked for Apple, I wasn't allowed to do a lot of stuff. Like if I ever made an app, Apple would own the app. Like I couldn't do anything with that app
Just
because
as like a retail employee.
Yeah. Wow. Even as a retail employee, but it was like all NDA stuff. But like even when I started my YouTube channel, like my boss had to comb through it to make sure I wasn't talking about like Apple stuff, or I wasn't doing anything that had like crossover because I wasn't allowed to do those things like because of the nature of my job or whatever. Mm-hmm. So like there's a lot of things that there's a lot of NDAs and non-compete clauses and things like that. Even at my level, like I still had those.
Privy to knowledge, or even just like, certain things that they don't retail strategies that they don't want people to know about.
Yep.
You know, in my industry, I'm not allowed to win the Kentucky lottery.
Interesting.
Because so we have a conflict of interest that a lot of accounting firms do. So if
they do know the numbers ahead of time.
Well, like it's like for any client, like if my cousin works at a client, they have to prove that I'm never going to look at a financial statement for that client. So that way there's no conflict of interest or
interest.
So it goes through this, and there's like part of finance and accounting firms that have like conflict sections that they make sure no one at the firm, you know, like has a relative. And then if they do, they have to like prove, you know, so it's just all that same stuff to where you have a bunch of red tape for all that. But yeah, I can't win the lottery because they're a client of us. So if I won it, they'd be like, they're the client. So
damn.
So the dream is dead for me, boys.
Next time.
You're probably going to save so much money in your life.
Honestly, probably. Well, I just lose it all at the casino anyways. So, but let's see here. Everybody does seem to be really excited about that Jedi Ghost Bridge because people were pretty pissed that Hasbro didn't include it.
Yeah, that's another one where it's just a simple solution to a problem.
You don't even need to paint it. Like I don't feel like you need to or anything. It just works. It's just there.
Yeah, it's just wood.
It's also like there's certain things where, because for me, I'm like, those are cool, but where am I going to put them? And then so you kind of come up with something where it gives it a context. Like the concept art figures, the Ralph McQuarrie ones. I looked at that and I was like, okay, how do we give these context where they can be on your shelf and make sense without needing to have, you know, it's like if they had 6 concept art figures, then you have your own little shelf, but just 2 of them, you're like, hey,
but just 2 is weird.
What do I do with this? Yeah, I say just paint the Vader and put it on your Rebels shelf.
It works. I mean, it's the right face shape. Yeah,
you could just paint the head and then just swap
that kind of goes against the principles of the Black Series, though, to do like an animated style.
Yeah,
because then they're like, well, why do all the Rebels characters look live action then?
Yeah, I'd be down for like an animated style like side series. You know, get rid of Credit Collection, get rid of Carbonize, take all that budget and do a little bit of new sculpting for some animated style colors and head sculpts. I'd be down for a little sideline like that.
I thought about doing some more concept art, like resin pieces, to make some of those other figures, but I haven't looked into it too much. I've been flipping through this the Steve Sansweet action figure book that I didn't even know about. I literally found that at a art shop a couple months ago, like at one of those toy shops that sells a lot of the vinyl toys and that sort of thing. And I was like, what? I didn't know this existed, but it's so good to flip through for inspiration now that we're able to do so many resin things.
Have you been to, speaking of Steve Sansweet, have you been to Rancho Obi-Wan?
No, I joined the I became a member because I wanted to have access once it opened up post-pandemic, but I haven't been up to San Francisco area in a while, so it's like 6 hours away, so it's a bit too much of a hike to just go just for that. But it's definitely, next time I end up out there, I think I have a cousin out there. It's like if I ever end up that far north, I'll definitely check it out. I really want to go up to the redwoods and take my indoor bunker and take some photos.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
That's where they
You have to take
film
your speeder bike too.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the real Forest of Endor.
That's the real deal. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would love to go to Rancho Obi-Wan and just visit all that. Like, I've seen a lot of the videos of it, but going there would actually be really insane.
I also want to see the Yoda fountain at Lucas.
Oh, you got to get a picture in front of you. I think there's 2 pictures every Star Wars fan should get a picture of themselves in front of. The Yoda fountain, and then that one random remaining episode 1 Pepsi.
in Pennsylvania.
In
or
Pennsylvania,
something.
Yeah.
I
wonder
bucket list.
Yeah.
Goals.
I wonder if they've got to know, right, that they can't ever move that.
No, it's got to stay there for the end of time. Like,
the city has to delegate it.
It's a landmark status at this point.
It should be. 23 years.
So we'll do. So hopefully, like, Star Wars Celebration 2026 is in Pennsylvania, and then we'll get a show squad picture.
Let's do it.
We'll wait in line for 2 hours.
That's right.
to get a picture in front of the
Honestly,
venue.
I would do it. I would.
I would do it easily. That'd be sick. I like those random, like, people just randomly post those, like the Jar Jar Binks statue or whatever that's from Phantom Menace. I wish I had my cup. I don't have my cup down here. I forgot.
I almost bought a cup. I almost bought a cup after your live stream with Ken. And I almost bought a Boss Nass one, and then I just didn't.
So I want to let you know that you're officially the only person who's going to be part of the VIP chats every month that isn't going to have one of those cups because everybody else bought one.
That's
so
fair. All right.
You have to buy one now.
I'll buy one. I'll buy one.
So I have the Darth Maul. I think someone, I think Kirby or Brian, I can't remember, bought the R2D2, and it's probably the best one because it actually has the
arms and stuff.
The arms that come down the side. So
Wilbon has Newt Gunray apparently.
Yeah, Wilbon bought Newt Gunray. Kirby got R2D2. So
what did Brian get?
You need the Boss Nass.
Oh, I got Sebulba. Okay, so I can get Boss Nass, or I can get what was the other one? I almost got Watto.
There's also a Mace Windu one.
Yeah. So Luke's got to dip out here pretty soon. So I kind of want. I don't know. Do you want to start winding down, or do you want to keep going after he's done?
We can wind down. There's not really a whole lot of Black Series news, or we can go a little bit.
Yeah, we had no Black Series news this week. It was. I know we're kind of winding up to PulseCon next month, so I don't expect a lot of news coming out before then. So it's going to be one of those things like I'm glad we have people lined up and stuff lined up before then.
And there was a Star action figure post that we'll talk about next show because hopefully we'll have a cool guest on and all that.
We'll have a guest next episode that maybe has some insight into that stuff, or just, because we haven't really talked about what's been up for sale for the re-releases. Because so far it's just been 2 helmets. Like, it hasn't been hard to get figures. It hasn't been, it's just been the 2 helmets do have the original boxes and stuff, but it's just those re-releases of helmets so far.
It is so strange, and just the way that it's unfolding is it's hot.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. Yakface did say that the Ahsoka and Sabine figures have arrived to the US, but also other Ahsoka Black Series figures that have not been announced yet. So that's pretty exciting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, those will probably get announced at PulseCon, I'm guessing. Or they might get, might get announced before. They might be doing like a Mando Monday or
they've done that
whatever.
for every series so far, right? They did it for Kenobi, and did they do that for? They didn't do it for Andor, right?
I don't remember. I know they did it for Mandalorian, but they might not have for Andor.
Yeah.
Now I can't remember, honestly.
It's crazy.
But they did it for Book of Boba Fett, for sure.
It's crazy that they can keep all of that under wraps. Like that there's like cases of figures that have already been in production for months that are like arriving to ports that have not been revealed yet. Like it's I guess it's not a big enough community that there's people snapping pictures and but
yeah, I guess I did just remember
we haven't offered them enough money. Just kidding.
Yakface did post that there was a couple carbonized figures apparently that might not be carbonized, the Amazon exclusive 2-pack. So, like what? Because it says one of them's in Ahsoka Tano, but they don't really carbonize unhelmeted characters.
Yeah, we've never had a non-helmeted character become carbonized before.
Maybe they saw that Anakin Skywalker head from the Ghost pack, and we're like, we can just make that carbonized.
That's it. They're making ghost figures.
TVC, Cara Dune, and Moff Gideon were carbonized.
Those were credit collection.
No, TVC.
Oh, TVC. Okay, so they've done that. All right.
Yeah, let me see. I'm looking up a photo. I think they don't. Looks like they don't touch the face, or they don't carbonize the face.
It's just their clothes and stuff.
Yeah,
that's so stupid. Either way,
I've never really been attracted to anything shiny like some people are. Like it just never excited me, and so the credit collection or carbonized is one of those things I just look at and I'm like, what am I looking at? Who is this for? But I guess people like it.
It was cool when it first started. Like I thought it was a really neat idea, and then it kept existing, and it got less cool every time.
Yeah, I've also never been able to take advantage of the fact that like the sculpt is the same. So like when the Cara Dune figure got really expensive, it's like I would have, if I didn't have it already, I would have bought the carbon or the credit collection.
Sure.
And then just repainted it. But I've never really used any of those for anything.
Well, I guess we can drop Luke off here, and then we can wrap up with our sign-offs once he's finished up. Luke, thank you for joining us for this episode of Black Series Cantina.
Of course, thanks for having me back.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's always anytime. A pleasure to talk to you.
We'll have you on sooner than I feel like it's been too long, so it won't be that long again, hopefully.
Yeah, no worries. Sounds good.
So yeah, thank you for joining. Thanks for being a great friend and being a killer person in the community.
Thanks for all you do for the community, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Do you have anything you're working on, or like where can people follow you? You got anything to plug real quick?
I'm Landspeeder Luke across socials. Instagram and YouTube are my two that I put the most attention into. Maybe TikTok soon, just so I can pass Zach and followers. Do
it. You would blow up on there, I promise. People would love it.
Sounds like a lot of work, but yeah. Maybe I shouldn't say this yet, but I've thought about doing another, because I used to share so much custom stuff, or even just like showcasing my work in actual posts on my main feed on Instagram. But now it's like gotten so focused on just my Patreon offers, and I want like new people who found my page just to be able to look and be like, okay, this is a Patreon, you know. So I've thought about making a separate account that's like Landspeeder Luke collection or something. Nobody steal my but I'm
gonna do it, so you got to pay me $50 for the domain.
But somewhere where I can showcase all my collection, like things from other people and that sort of thing, because I kind of just want to have it all in one place as well. So it'll kind of be the infinite shelf that I don't have in real life. So keep an eye out for that. But that's something that I don't know if I need to like give myself that much extra work, but it's just something that's been bouncing around my head. But
it's okay. Yeah. I'll be your shelf. Like all the stuff I print, you can just ask me for a picture of what the stuff
I'll just fly out to your house once a year.
That'll work.
So look at everything.
Let's do it.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, thanks for having me on, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
All right. Thanks, Luke.
Thanks for joining.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. What
wow, he exited without ending the whole episode. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy how you can do that, and
That's weird.
that is pretty wild. But yeah, what a great individual Landspeeder Luke is. So
Yeah, he's our friend now. Isn't that weird?
It is weird. I don't feel cool enough to be Luke's friend. You know what I mean?
You aren't.
Honestly, I'm probably not.
Just kidding. You definitely are.
I'm probably not.
No, you are. You're cool enough, buddy.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. But yeah, he is just the best, and he's so helpful. Like everybody who reaches out to him about 3D printing, like I tried not to bother him too much when I started, but there are those questions that you have, and you just kind of have to, you know.
Yep.
You just
or
kinda
like
have to.
you know, anytime Justin has a problem with his prints,
which is like every other month, it seems.
Every other print.
Justin's getting roasted on the Cantina right now. He's not even here to defend himself.
I love a good roast, Justin. Okay.
It is true. We like to gang up on him. It is true though. He just seems to have an issue with like.
He has issues. No, I meant that. I'm not dogging on him. It's a thing that happens. But Luke is super cool about helping him out.
Fortunately, he seems to be printing that Jurassic Park gate pretty solidly.
It's looking good. I'll be honest.
And knock on wood, I was actually talking to Wilbon about this whenever I think we were playing Battlefront without you, of course, because you never hop on. I think I might have also been playing with Brian a little bit after. But I told him I haven't had, fortunately, knock on wood. Everybody hear that? That's me knocking on wood, jinxing it. I haven't had any like major issues with my printer, and I've had it since January. So, like, I haven't even changed out the nozzle or anything. Like, it's
does
just
it feel longer
sailing.
than 8 months since you started?
It feels like, because all the stuff I have, it feels like I've had it forever. Because it feels like I've also taken breaks from printing. Like, I'll go a month without. And then, because I feel like to print stuff, you really have to get in the rhythm of doing it. It's really easy to fall out of doing it because you got to like set it up. You got to make sure it's balanced and level. You got to, you got to put the file on the Cura and do all that. And it takes a little bit of effort. So if you have a busier day or whatever, you can kind of fall out of it. But once you do get printing, like you can like really knock out some stuff. But fortunately, I haven't had any issues that have set me back too much. So I've been able to just knock out like massive print after massive print, which has been really insane. So my collection's just like grown incredibly since I've had it. So hopefully no print problems soon, but I know I just jinxed myself talking about it on the pod. It's going to like blow up and all that.
Yep.
Brian asked what I'm printing right now. I'm actually not printing anything. I ran out of tan filament. I can't remember. Tan or brown. I do need to buy some of that filament to do the R2D2 glass holder. The drink tray. But I got time for that since we don't even have that R2 yet. But I did finish that Hoth turret, and that was a big print, so I haven't really dove back in. But I'm kind of thinking about doing... I kind of want to do some of those like storage lockers, because I really like the idea of, like with the Doc Onder set, where you can just throw random accessories on there. I really want to do more of those sets where you can just grab accessories from your accessory bin and just pile them in there and make it look like a resale market, or just something to feature accessories. I think that'd be pretty neat to do that. So I wish we could get like what's his name? Unkar Plut. Because then I feel like Luke could print that. He could create that gate, and then you could put a bunch of stuff behind him too.
Yeah. I mean, and he could sell it for just like 10 portions.
2 quarter portions.
That's like a half a portion.
3 quarter. That's what... What did she say? Ray's like, that's lower than yesterday, or whatever she said.
Something. I don't remember.
Yesterday it was 3 or whatever. He's a scammer either way.
Yep, that was the point of the character. He wasn't a good guy.
But that would be a pretty sick print if they ever made that figure. But
Sure, absolutely.
that's got to be the last figure we'd get in Black Series at this point, right? Just a random alien from the sequel trilogy.
You think like that's how they cap the line off? Is just an Unkar Plut?
Maybe. I just feel like if you were making a list of all the likely Black Series figures, I feel like a random alien from the sequels would be at the very bottom because of, I guess they don't like making sequel figures anymore.
I want them to like to make them, but I get it.
Know.
I get it.
I
So I think I talked about this last time, but no, I didn't. So I just redid my shelves, getting all the Cosmic Legions. I'm like, I want to put these on the shelf. I want a spot for them. So, I looked at where I had my sequel trilogy figures, and they used to be down here at the bottom. And, they'd always be falling over. And it's not because I didn't like them, but they're just in a weird spot. My cat likes to like go over there and like knock them over and stuff. So I took a few that I don't care about out, and then I condensed them, and now they're all up on top on the shelf. Because I feel like there are some good figures in there, some things I like. But the problem is most of them just came out in like a really terrible time. Like it was just the worst time. So on top of being, divisive, they also were at a low point in just toy quality. So it was a perfect storm of bad or just problematic at the very least.
Yeah, that was the Force Awakens and I guess Last Jedi going
Rogue One, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, up until they got to
over quality.
Yeah. They were making weird character selections. They were doing the weird things with faces. Like it wasn't good. Yeah, it wasn't until Solo came out that because that was 2018, so they started doing the face printing and things kind of started going back up from there. But yeah, we had some dark time, but now we have all those figures from the dark times and like cool.
It's weird how Marvel was doing that face printing for like a year and a half or two prior to Black Series even getting it.
Yeah,
right?
I wonder if it was maybe a licensing thing or what. Like I really don't know. Maybe with the printing they had to get like rights to like likenesses or something like that rather than hand printing, because I honestly don't know. I'm trying to think of why, because you're right, it was a good year, 2 years in between when they got it.
Yeah, or maybe Lucasfilm wasn't like, whenever I guess Marvel was okay with like, okay, let's experiment with this face printing thing, but maybe Lucasfilm was like, all right, let's hold off, let's just see how good it is, give it a year or two, and then
Guardians 2 came out in 2017, and I think that was the first wave that I got where I'm like, wow, this Star-Lord looks like like it looks just like him. It's crazy.
Yeah, I remember looking at and be like, this looks like Chris Pratt, but all the Black Series figures look like shit. You know?
Wilbon's got a point. It could be a budget thing because, like, I feel like once they started doing the digital face printing, like, I do think that's more expensive for sure.
Yeah.
Than I guess what they were doing before.
It's also just crazy, like, how far figures have come. So the Black Series has been out for 10 years. And so if you grab, like, that original X-Wing Luke or that original Darth Maul and you compare it to, like, this Darth Malak right here with the crazy mask that comes off, and, like, and how people can really, like, seriously say that the quality has dropped over the years in Black Series is just, like, it's beyond.
It definitely has not.
And it's, like, right now, because when Black Series came out, I was feeling the figures. I was like these are absolutely incredible. Like, this Sand Trooper is great. Like, I love these. And then, like, but where do you think we'll be in another 10 years? Like, can you imagine how good those figures are going to be?
Hollow figures.
Man. That's going to be wild. Yeah. And Black Series Cantina will be here in 10 years to cover.
We're not stopping. As soon as this line's done, we're just going to pivot into what we wish that they were coming out with.
Yeah, we're going to get on here and, like, so instead of bringing up the Rancor every week, we're just going to bring up the Black Series. We're going to have to cry about all the figures they never made. They died right before they released the Super Battle Droid. They announced it, and could you imagine? I would kill myself on stream.
Just commit seppuku.
On
Japanese
stream.
ritual suicide.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Man, that is wild. A small sound chip. Yeah, that there we go. They might maybe it'd be good in 10 years to get a little sound chip in there.
They had the keychain thing for episode 1, the Comtech readers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was terrible. That was legitimately awful. That was really bad.
They sounded so buzzy.
They were so bad. Yeah.
And I remember also as a kid, I didn't really know how they worked at first because you had the little rectangular piece.
Yep.
And I had like the figure. I remember having I think Darth Maul and Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like putting the foot on it, expecting it to start talking, and it like just never worked for me.
No. Well, didn't
Like-
they do something in like 2018 or something? They had like a wrist thing that kind of had electronic features that interacted with figures.
On what line?
I think it was the whatever the 3 3/4 inch line was. I feel like it was like Force Link or something like that. Force Link 2.0. Hold on, is this it? Is this what I'm thinking of? Yeah, Force Link 2.0 starter set. So it's like it was like a little wrist thing that you had. So it came out when Solo came out, and like when you're holding a figure and wearing it, like it would have sounds and
Interesting.
and phrases that those figures would do and say, I guess.
I feel like modern days, it'd be so much easier if they just did like an app.
You can, by the way, you can get one of those, and it comes with a Han Solo 3 3/4 inch for $8.47 on
Wow,
Amazon.
Nice.
Here's also one. Here's a Kylo Ren from. This might be Last Jedi. Yeah, it's Last Jedi. So it started in 2017, but that one's $20. So you heard it here first. Kylo Ren, way cooler than Han Solo, apparently.
Some might say, since he killed him, that he is cooler.
Yes,
That's how
true,
that works.
Actually, that's true.
Like,
That's
no one ever says Abe Lincoln's cooler than
Booth.
John Wilkes Booth.
John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah.
John Wilbon. Wait,
John Will Booth.
John Will Booth.
Well, I think we're getting off the rails now. So,
Yeah, I think it's
and
probably time to end. We went a little bit longer than the guest, but I feel like it's okay if we have a little bit of a shorter episode.
we're still at 2 hours for the audio pod,
That's true.
and with a show that there's not really a whole lot of Black Series news out there. So I got through my first yawn of the episode, so I feel like that's
There you
when we
go.
got to end it. It's
Yeah,
been a
it's
crazy
time to
couple
go.
days
Yeah,
on the
Yeah,
day
kind of
job.
a-
So
kind of a fun low key episode here.
yeah, fun low key episode.
Yeah.
I do wanna let's get some plugs in before we
Yeah,
hop
plugs.
off. Follow
Plug
us on Patreon.
Yes,
Well, actually,
we
go ahead.
we're going to be doing a giveaway for Patreon on our birthday episode, which is next month. We're doing on the 15th, which is a Friday. So put it on your calendars. If you're listening to this, you can join us if you're a Patreon member. So you can join us on Patreon. We'll be giving figures away for our, is it 2 years now? 2-year birthday?
2-year birthday bash.
2-year birthday.
Yeah, so not only can you become a Patreon member and be eligible to win a
I don't know,
Black Series figure,
some toy,
but
yeah,
you will be able to join us live on the show.
it's true.
Just
That's what we do for our anniversary shows.
Yeah, that's what we do for our birthday bashes. Just like last year, I think it was episode 27 or 28 in that range.
Yeah.
So go listen to that episode, and then you'll kind of see how it works. Where we send the invite link to the Patreon, and then whoever is a Patreon member, you can click that link and you can sit in our green room, and then we will bring you on the actual main show. And it's a way to interact with our Patreon members, get them involved. We had some of the best conversations we ever had on the show, like on that
Yeah.
episode. Some very memorable conversations. So hopefully those that joined us last year, hopefully they join us this year, and hopefully we get more. Like, we think it's going to be a blast. We're going to, like Mike said, we're going to do that Friday, September 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll go live, so we'll probably be live a little sooner than that for just to maybe get everybody in and get ready before we launch the audio pod. We'll do a little Patreon intro on that. Also, we will be back in 2 weeks. I forget the date off the top of my head. Let's look. So our next podcast we will record on August 31st. We're hoping to have a guest for that episode. We have them lined up. We just want to confirm it closer to make sure they're on.
Yep.
But if they back out, unfortunately, the two of us, Mike and Zach, we will be here talking Black Series as normal.
We said think of something, Jar Jar.
And on that note, I'm Zach. You can follow me at Black Series Cantina on Instagram, at the Star Wars Black Series on TikTok. That's still got the old traditional name. And Mike, where can new listeners find you over the socials?
At Mike Case on Twitter. I'm Trusty Sidekick on Instagram. I'm Mike Case on YouTube. I've got some YouTube videos I've been making. Every new episode, I've got YouTube videos that I've made, and it feels pretty good to be getting YouTube videos out with my name on them again. So
it feels good to me that you feel good finally posting videos again. Because you were in a rut there for a while. You were in a rut there.
I was in a little rut, but I found a good medium between how much work I have to put into it versus like the final product that I'm happy with. So I like that.
The boy is back.
The boy's back.
He's diving into that algo hard.
That's right. Got to claw my way back up. I used to be a thing, where I'd post it in like hour or two. I'd have like 2,000 or 3,000 views. And now it's like, oh man, I hit 1,000 views in a day. That feels really good. And then, and then the algorithm just drops me like a rock. Like I go to 1,000 views in like 18 hours and then nothing. It's like YouTube just is like, screw my case. It's weird.
Those algos are tough, man.
Yeah, algorithm's crazy.
Yeah, that TikTok algo, I'll have a video and I'm sitting there like, oh, this is going to be a banger. And then 3 hours later, it's got 600 views. And I'm like, do I delete this? Like, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I had that where I posted one and I'm like, oh, wow, it's already at 200 views. It's been like 10 minutes. That's crazy. Thinking like it's going to skyrocket. And then it hits like 400 or something. And then nothing. And I'm like, okay,
yeah.
I guess.
TikTok's really weird about that too. It'll like, sometimes I'll post a video and like within 2 minutes, it's got like 600 views or something like that. And I'm like, oh, wow, this might be a banger. And then I'll get back on a couple hours later and it's like, you got 2 more likes. I'm like, what? The math is not mathing right now. This is not adding up.
Yeah, I turned on notifications from TikTok and I'll get like an email a day that's like, that's right, you got 2 new likes. And I was like, you don't have to send me an email for 2 likes. That's a little ridiculous. Like nobody cares.
Yeah, that sucks. On Instagram, I'll post a reel and I'll post it and like 2 days later I'll get a notification that says your reel has 1.5 thousand plays. But normally on my other Instagram account that got banned, I'm used to 1,000, like 2,000 views in like the first
and like an hour.
Yeah, the first hour or two.
Yeah.
And I would have reels that got like 35,000 views and 40, 60,000 views on there. But now it's like, I think my highest watched might be like 4,000. But the reels are what has been getting me followers on Instagram. I think that, and people keep tagging me in their stuff, and that's gotten me quite a bit too. So I really appreciate everybody doing that. But we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Black Series Cantina. You can come find us pretty consistently. We've been a good job staying on schedule with the pod.
Yep.
Almost 2 years now, so we don't plan on stopping. So glad everybody's listening, and we'll be back.
Cool. Well, we'll see you next time. Bye.